I remember just constant, absolute terror. And I can't explain how intense, how strong, how all-encompassing that terror is. Unless you do this, you're going to get killed. You're going to die.
Good evening, everyone. We're here. We're ready to get it started, guys. It's the finals. Finals of the Watchers Brawl. I'm looking forward to it. Phase 1 versus Citizens. I'm Men of Class. And obviously, I couldn't do this without the wonderful Sir Waltham. How are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty all right. Ready to see this game getting going. Now, we did kind of see a little preview of Citizens versus Phase 1 a little bit earlier in the tournament, but, you know, that doesn't mean anything here. I still think either team definitely in the running to take it.
Yeah, and I mean that's the whole point, right? I mean, we're gonna see these teams face off here for all the marbles, really. And yeah, Phase 1 did take it. I think it was a 3-0 the last time as well. So it was like map score wise was definitely dominant, and they looked very strong versus Citizens. But then again, Citizens could have just found the key to breaking what they couldn't break last time, and it could change everything. So like I said, Citizens have showed a lot of adaptation throughout the tournaments that we've seen them play in, and that's just something that could come into play again today. So we'll see. I think Citizens definitely have a little bit more to prove here than Phase 1.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. And as a quick reminder for those of you at home, in case you're a little bit unfamiliar with how we run the finals here in this tournament, the way it's going to work is that it will actually be 2 best-of-3 rounds. So basically one team will have to win both of those best of 3. If they do end up going 1-1, there will be a tiebreaker map, I believe, on Busan. So a little bit different than how we normally run it in the standard tournament. But, you know, we like to break out all the stops. We like to make it just a little bit more complicated, build up the tension just a little bit for you folks.
Yeah, that's always nice to see that going in, you know, just making it more complicated, because why not? You know, I like it's complicated. But you know what's not that complicated? We're talking to other people, and that's like the beautiful thing, and that's why we have the coach of Phase 1 here. So yeah, how are you doing? Introduce yourself. You know, who are you? Hello.
Hi, I'm doing well. I'm Mirio, the coach for Phase 1 right now.
Okay. Well, I mean that's obviously everything we kind of need to know to start with. No, obviously you've had a pretty good tournament so far. I don't think you've had that much trouble getting here. And last time, obviously, Citizens didn't put up enough of a resistance, so you got through really quickly. Do you feel a similar storyline is going to happen today?
Probably. Their coach thinks that he has a counter figured out for us, and he thought he had that figured out the last match, and he didn't, and we rolled them. And probably nothing's going to change in this time either.
Okay. I mean, that's a very good way of putting it. At least that sounds like a very certain conclusion, at least. So that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, have you changed anything yourselves, or are you just gonna run with the same thing? Like, just have you really adapted to anything, or you feel like, yeah, you know, we know what we're running, and no one's been able to beat it yet, so we're just gonna keep running it until someone manages.
Why fix what's not broken, right?
Exactly. I couldn't disagree with you more.
If Citizens does finally decide to try some new things, we already have counter strats for counter strats, so we're not worried at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that you're aware of, you know what counters your style, and then you can counter that that's nice. It's good to be prepared, so it's nice to see that you are prepared, and as a coach, that's obviously something you're very invested in. I would say. Is there a big dynamic going on where like one person calls more of the shots, or is it really like a proper cooperation with you and the team?
I think Razor is a big shot caller for us, especially towards the end of fights when he really wants a hammer kill. Like, comms are all right, let's help Razor get the hammer kill, you know? He's a big leader in our comms, especially.
Yeah. I mean, we had a post-match interview with him last time, and he was very talkative, so I could definitely imagine that happening. As a coach, are there particular areas you really focus on with the team?
Well, right now, obviously these are not meta compositions. We're not playing goats. We're not playing summer goats. We're not exactly bashing our heads against that wall. What my job is right now mostly is making sure that everyone's getting maximum value out of their heroes. So, like, I want to make sure that Romanov gets the 6K with his Reaper Hole, you know? That's my job.
Yeah. And is that more of a micro management thing, or does it have a lot to do with teamwork as well?
It's mostly just like individual, so it's not like
Yeah, so you're looking at things like decision making and like just improving the general level of their choices.
Right. There's not a lot of
makes-
macro with the compositions that we run. It's mostly just we kill them quicker than they can build any ultimates, so we don't really worry about macro.
Okay. Well, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Like you say, the composition styles that you're running aren't. It's not like it's goats where you have to stick together, do everything together, and it's a little bit different than that. So I definitely see that happening. Are you like at all excited about like the future of like the meta maybe shifting, going for a 2-2-2 lock potentially in the future? Is that something that you're looking forward to?
Yes, obviously. New meta is really exciting for us, but I think at phase 1 we are already ahead of most people in terms of that. Clearly, because people try to run goats into us and it doesn't work. So we're obviously ahead of the curve at the moment, and when the meta does finally change, we will be well ahead of other tier 3 teams, I think.
Okay, well, I mean, that's definitely something I see happening as well. So yeah, I want to wish you good luck, obviously, tonight. I mean, you're not going to be playing, but you are going to be helping them out across on the sidelines. Are there any people you want to shout out on at all?
Yeah, I want to shout out Razor. He's our main shot caller, obviously, and he's the one that got us this far. So I'm very excited to see how many hammer kills he gets tonight.
Okay, well, I mean, I cannot say I'm not excited about that perspective as well. I think he got quite a few last time. So I want to thank you for coming in. Hopefully, you get the result you want, and we're gonna get into the game soon. So thank you very much, Mirio.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
Now,
I mean, it's a little bit enlightening, right? I mean, it's a team, like they said, he's a little bit off meta, and then just how do they deal with that, and how does that work? Because like you said, they're not goats, so they're not relying necessarily on that macro teamwork that you always hear about. And that's an interesting dynamic.
I'm very excited to hear them kind of future proving themselves. How they talk about, oh, we're kind of already ahead of the curve on the 2-2-2 lock style things, because that's something that might start to affect these I don't want to say lower tier, but these tier 3 hovering around that tier teams, because a lot of tournaments might start incorporating that into their rule set as it gets moving forward here, especially if we start to see it into Overwatch League, which it's definitely sounding like that's going to be the case. So I really like when I hear those teams kind of building themselves up for greater things in the future as well as in the now.
Yeah, and obviously, being ready for the future is one thing, but it's mostly that you got to predict what the future is going to be. I think that's where really the interesting part of it lies. You always hear, I think that it's like a few big coaches amongst who were, I think Jane even said it. He's like, yeah, I don't do theory crafting because it doesn't work, or when it's different, then it's pointless. So you have to wait till it comes out and they have to do something with it. But it always feels a little bit like this duality of things, where you're saying, like, yeah, I don't want to theory craft, but you have to sort of theory craft as well. And yeah, I don't think you can say you don't theory craft. But that's another thing. Obviously, we're going to go into the game now, so we can have a lot of theories about what this match is going to be like.
Yeah, we're going to be forcing on the lovely Hollywood. I think it's lovely anyway. I feel like it's one of the more underappreciated maps in this tournament. Yeah, we get the Lijiang, we get the Hanamura every once in a while, but Hollywood is kind of one of my favorites. I like the first point. You can get quite a lot of different types of comps. So, overall, I think we might be in for something pretty exciting here, especially if we're hearing talk about the Torbjorn coming out from Razor. I think there's some potential here for that.
Yeah, and obviously we time as well, and then the Torbjorn did definitely come out, so they got right. Looks like Razor's going to be ready for it. Romanov on the Ashe as well did so much damage with that last time, and Vulcan on the Junkrat. I think it's the literally exact same composition that we see coming out this time. Nox on the Mercy, Cal on the Ana, and a Salt Shaker on the Orisa. For anyone who watched the last match a little bit confused, Salt Shaker is the same account, or let's say person, as Dr. Foreskin. So it's the same player, just using a different account today. So Salt Shaker in for them. And on the other side, looks like they're gonna run with something more mobile. Quad DPS with a Hammond and a Baptiste? No, it's gonna be something different.
Yeah, kind of interesting here. Usually when we see the Orisa come out with these bunker-ish type DPS, you usually see something like a Baptiste for that increased sustain alongside the Mercy. Cal on this Honest, a little bit of a shakeup as far as this kind of the conventions of this comp go. At least we typically don't see it that often.
Yeah, we will see quite a few swaps coming in for the attack, going over to the Winston, the Roadhog, that also have a Torbjorn, maybe even an Orisa. It looks like they're a little bit of like, what are we doing here? So a little bit of confusion looking to be coming out, but finally they decide on what they're going to run it. Oh, such a dynamite coming out from Romanov straight away. That's going to get any kills with it, but so much damage already being done. 50% towards the ultimate.
Yeah,
that's a lot of damage done. Oh, Vulcan falls though. That's big. They get the res off, so it's not all lost, but that's still a res you might have not wanted to use there.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking at it, Rack Attack already up with that amplification matrix. That can be very lethal here if they focus fire with it, and they are.
Yeah, Romanov going down, Bob just melting away. That's a lot of HP to just burn, but that amplification matrix really helping them out there. The high ground is also very highly contested by both teams. It was going to be Vulcan taking out both Frosted and Rack Attack with that Junkrat. Will fall himself, but that's a lot of power gone, a lot of healing, a lot of sustain from that Roadhog as well. So now they're going to have this the Torbjorns that Urisa's facing off, but Romanov is back on the Reaper. Once you just run into them with those shotguns, is now on top of Salieri, who was slept, and is going to evacuate or evict them from the point.
Yeah, that is so fatal if you're on the side of Citizens. It was looking good, but then Vulcan just comes out and lands a double kill with that Junkrat nade. And now you're looking down the barrel end of 4 ultimates. That is not a place you want to be in, especially that Riptire. It can end a fight before it even really gets started, or even worse, once you've committed to it, and then you're kind of stuck in the weird in-between
They
fight.
played slow. They could maybe get to something else, but there's already a tire coming out from Vulcan. Will he get value? He will not actually get a kill from that. That's a big ultimate gone, especially with the Nano and Romanov also already used. So now they'll have a Dragon. They have another Amplification Matrix. They're getting close to the Blizzard and the Whole Hog as well. They could maybe turn this around because no kills have fallen just yet. It's going to be Romanov onto Cybot and Frosted, and will get out alive, but that was a very close one. Almost got the value out of that Reaper there.
Yeah, as you're going to have to be very heads up. There's not going to be much to block this Blizzard coming through from default.
They're using the Dragon to maybe split something off, and it's going to be Razor all on his own, but Default goes a little bit too deep, gets anti-nated and taken out by Razor there. Vulcan only getting the Immortality Field, but Rack Attack will just fall to Romanov. Salt Shaker getting blue power right there, and Cybot is going to be the last to fall, I think.
Yeah, and it has just looked convincing here from the side of Phase 1. They do not seem to be giving up any progress onto the point, and they've already shaved off about 3 minutes from the attacker's side. It's really going to be on the Citizens to really kind of change up things if they want to see much success. They do have that Blizzard online, though.
Yeah, they definitely do, and with the wall, the Blizzard, and the zoning, the halt, there's a lot of things they could do to just get the value out of that. They're now going to try and wrap all the way around, put something on the high grounds. Vulcan tries to deny it a little bit, will just drop back down. Romanov managed to shift away. That was a close one, because that hook was definitely coming in there. But Cybot gets to come to Razor, and that's a big one. The res will come out, but there's the Blizzard. Well, this frees up the turret, but not much else. Tire comes in. Doesn't actually get a kill because of the nice Immortality Field, and Vulcan will actually fall. Romanov also down, so a lot of damage gone here for the defenders, and it looks like Citizens will actually take this point here.
Yeah, they're certainly working for it, but nothing is set in stone quite yet. Just going to be the Mercy going to contest, not quite going to be enough. That rotation and use of the May ult seemed really well executed on the side of Citizens. They're finally making it work for them. The ult advantage is not going to be with them in this next coming fight, though, as we see Romanov and Cal both have their ults online, whereas we're seeing a lot of swaps come through from the Citizens, meaning a lot of lost ult charge.
Yeah, this is probably going to be... I mean, they didn't have that much ult charge to begin with, so they're going over to the double sniper, double spam. So there's a lot of damage they can do, and there's not that much range damage to the defense, so that could be problematic. That Nano Death Wilson will not get anything. The Beyblade meta that we so loved is not that interesting anymore. Cal will get the final blow in the Salieri, but not really, really necessary, I feel. And they're going to swap it up again. Frosted going over to the Hanzo, Blue Power Raid over to the Pharah, and Cybot over to the Mercy, Rack Attack to the Ana. So we're still ending up with this double sniper, but they're going to have the double support this time.
Yeah, they definitely want to keep a little bit of an arm's distance away from that Reaper, so they're going to be giving it a go here.
Oh, Vulcan showing up to be a little bit of a better sniper than Default there on that May, but Frosted gets Romanov, so a little bit of a trade happening here. And I think the residual position for default will put them in a numbers advantage here for Citizens. So they're going to go and try and pressure out the shield. Salt Shaker doesn't have one right now, but there's the Molten Core coming out from Razor. Razor not getting anything with that just yet, zoning just a little bit, and Nox will go down as a result. Salieri does get zoned out, so will actually fall, but so does Salt Shaker. So this could still go either way. But Vulcan, just on that Mei, hits so many of these right clicks. Romanov taking out Blue Power Ray. They're just able to hold on to this because of pure raw DPS pick potential.
Yeah, it was a real unfortunate spot for Citizens because they finally start to get some man advantage, but they have snipers, and having to navigate those tight corners with those snipers is really tough when you have a Mei choking down your sightlines as much as possible.
Salieri just gets split off, not actually frozen because of the Fortify, but just gets taken out by Vulcan and Co. and Razor as well. That was just a little bit of it's gonna hurt a little bit as there is. I mean, you constantly get that happening to you, where the walls is gonna be there. And they might just want to switch maybe to the more of a dive call. I don't know. I don't really know what to do against this. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, they're certainly trying to make it work. A nice anti-nade coming through. Will it be enough, though, is the question.
Yeah, they do get the nano out onto Salieri, but also onto Salt Shaker. So the double nano will actually go into the favor here of the defense. And Rack Attack and Cybot going down late. 7 seconds to get to the point. I don't know if anyone else can make it, because it's only 5 seconds, and they still got to get from spawn.
Yeah, it does not seem... Oh, it will be Salieri.
They do. He got slept, but they woke him up somehow. Default's going to be there still, so he will be able to maybe stall it for a little bit longer, with the Immortality Field especially. But they got to get some more kills. They do get Salt Shaker, but is it going to be enough? Frosted and Rack Attack and Cybot do get there, but Romanov just cleans it up! That was 4 kills, just in tandem. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's just Salieri on the point, but that will not be enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Romanov pulling out some great shots there at the very end. A Widow on the high point when you have to contest cart can be so fatal. It is just a very costly thing because you can't really divide any manpower to go dealing with that Widow. But she's going to get those free shots in, especially if there's not as many shields. You're going to be seeing a brief pause come through here, however, looking like Vulcan having maybe a little bit of connection issues, but for phase 1 did not seem to be bothering them too much last round.
No, and that didn't really seem to be an issue, and we had a little bit of Discord issues. Obviously, we know we're changing everything around, so technical difficulties. It's just something you got to deal with, especially with these online formats. But yeah, I mean, both teams usually have that same problem. It's almost never that one team really experienced much of it. But I don't know. Like phase 1 looked very good there on that defense, but there were some specks of light here and there from Citizens as well. I mean, they didn't get full held. So that's already the start. They got through, and they're showing change. They didn't do the same thing they did last time. Whether they actually know how to break the comp now, that's a different story because they still struggled a lot. They didn't really get through the gate on second, but at least they got the first point, which is always a good point to start.
Yeah, you definitely have to think so. They definitely have kind of a line in the sand, I like to call it, whenever you make some progress that allows you to at least have the potential to pull a win out. It is a little bit of a tough spot for the side of Citizens. This is basically going to equate to a first point hold, maybe with a little bit if they're able to get a scrappy enough refight going here. But that's going to be very tough, and they really have their work cut out for them here.
We have seen them do it before, though. Citizens actually managed to full hold American Revolution on this map. The main difference there, though, that was not the same comp matchup. That was not Goats v Goats. And this is, well, something versus what phase 1 is running. So it's a very different story. Last time they tried to pull out Bastion to do something against it, like a Bastion bunker, but that really didn't work. So I'm curious to see if they're going to do anything different now. Maybe they're changing something up. But I want to kind of get back to what Miroy was talking about, where he said, like, yeah, it's not really about that whole macro thing. It's all about the micro. And I think that's something you can really see coming through. And that's possibly like the strength of phase 1 right now.
Yeah, I mean, indeed, a lot of times I'll just hear myself saying to my teammates, just win your 1v1s. It's easy. Yeah. I mean, obviously it's not as easy as that, but sometimes it does come down to kind of the mechanical or just the actual gameplay of your individual to really kind of have the team surpass the other. not saying that one team is, mechanically superior than the other, but it definitely helps. And I think we're seeing a little bit of it here.
Well, I mean, it's literally that. I mean, you can have all the teamwork you want, but if Romanov just gets those 4 kills in tandem really quickly, then it doesn't really matter what the rest of your team's doing at that point. I mean, it's only the Widow, and she just gets headshots. That's it. But there's nothing complicated about that. She just clicked the heads. That's what it is. I mean, we can analyze what we want, but if you have a Widow on your team that either doesn't have a shield to shoot at, or just, I don't know what she's doing, but if she just hits those 4 shots in a fight, then you're done. Like, there's nothing else you need to do as a team. Maybe clean up the other 2 members, but if you're in a 5v2 and the Widow might be, I don't know what she's doing at that point, but like, it doesn't matter. You're just gonna win. You're just gonna win. And it feels like really, and Phase 1 is really looking like they're relying on a lot of those plays, but it's not just that they're playing these 1v1s. Like, it's all about the 1v1s. There's more to it than that, and that's like the beauty of what a team like Clockwork Vendetta as well started out with, where yes, they know what the compass that they're running, but it's not a lot about the teamwork. There's a lot about the individual ability to do something on those heroes they're playing as well.
Oh, certainly, yeah, and I do like to give a little bit of credit to, everybody knows fundamentally how GOATS works, how, the quad DPS works, but it's hard to predict kind of how Phase 1 is playing right now without a lot of first-hand experience. So, I mean, really, yes, I could tell you a Torbjorn's going to be on the field. You might think that's a weird pick. You don't see that much, nowadays, or, really throughout the long history of Overwatch, you haven't really seen that a whole lot, but they're making it work here, and because you haven't seen it, it's kind of one of those scratching your heads, what do you do in this situation type of things.
Yeah, and that is definitely a thing, but it's been a bit of a comeback. I mean, Torbjorn has been more popularized in the last few months to weeks, so it's not as uncommon as it used to be, and especially because of that rework and Molten Core, etc. He's become a lot tankier as a hero, meaning he can survive longer. The damage comes out more in that case as well. The turret deployment, a lot of factors that just made him better, but we just hadn't seen teams starting to pull him out. And now that we're seeing that, we see the true power of the Torbjorn, so to speak. And it looks like Cybot is agreeing with that. Torbjorn is actually a pretty good hero, so gonna pull that one out in the defense.
Yeah, it's looking like a very similar comp going to be run here, except this time they will be using the Baptiste, trying to hold this high ground in the cafe. You can see the setup here from the side of Citizens is already very different than what we saw out of Phase 1.
Yeah, because they've been playing a lot of solo support already on Hollywood here. What is the thought behind that?
I mean, it's very curious, unless you're going for multiple angles of attack, or maybe even some lane control with that Mei and the Hanzo having, the Mei having choke and the Hanzo having long lines of sight. It's really hard to predict how that's going to work, but the Baptiste does have burst healing that does kind of deal splash healing, so that's a very nice kind of combo that fits very well, you might think, with a tightly clustered group like this.
Yeah, Vulcan doing a lot of poke damage from the thing has basically just been trying to break the shields. But Razor gets the kill into blue power raid because the immortality field and the shield were both not there. Romanov comes in the kill in default. This is just, they've already broken this open. I don't think Citizens can actually hold on to this with only 4 members, and without a Mercy Therese, that's going to be a tough ask. They need to start getting some kills, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do so. First stick already over here to Phase 1, and they're just going to continue their run. They're going to continue their run through this tournament. They're going to get another map on the board, it looks like, pretty soon, but the first point looks to be over.
Yeah, it is certainly looking to be the case, and really, it's kind of interesting because we didn't see Frosted playing that much with Salieri, which when you see the Roadhog Orisa comps, you see them generally play together. Some kills coming in favor, but not quite enough.
Yeah, and obviously they still have to push it, but it's 31.96 meters, many of which will just happen automatically because who's really going to challenge it there? But then maybe they can still hold on. I mean, 5 minutes for this sort of a distance, it's possible, but I would say it's almost as possible as getting a draw on an escort map. So yeah, it's not going to happen. They don't even get to the point, and that's the first map going over to Phase 1.
Yeah, Phase 1 already in a good spot. However, it is far from done here. We have at least 3 more games to go if my caster math adds up. And man,
Yes.
that was just it's weird to say like kind of fundamental when you're talking about such a weird comp, but that just seemed like some really good Overwatch play to me.
Yeah, and it really feels I mean, I mentioned the name Clockwork Vendetta before, but they really introduced this type of style where they're saying, you know what, we are playing what we play, and you just got to figure out how to beat it. Rather than us adapting to you, you have to adapt to us, and then we already know what you're going to adapt to, so then we adapt to you again, and then you're just as lost as you were before. And it really is something that looks to be showing here a lot. So I don't know if there's going to be changes here coming out for Citizens. All I know is we're going to not see Eichenwald.
Yeah, we will be seeing no more hybrid maps, as I believe Eichenwald and Hollywood were our only options. But we're not going to be seeing them in this set of 3. So who knows, might come back, might make a grand reappearance. But
yeah,
for the time being, it's not going to be up next. It will be on Citizens to determine the next map. But I mean, you know, Citizens wouldn't have been able to pick Eichenwald this time around anyway, because we just played one of those hybrid maps.
Yeah, and yeah, that's just basic rule set, right? You just can't play the same map type in a row. But Citizens is gonna go for the map pick. I'm curious what they're gonna go for, because I think we talked about it last time as well, where we said, yeah, there's a few things you can do. You can try to get them to control, which is, you know, it's a faster game type, but there's more chaos going on, which you could use to your advantage. But Citizens seems like a team that doesn't really want to play too much chaos. They just want to play team v team rather than all these smaller fights breaking out.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird when you say the chaos, because Torbjorn, you know, that we see from phase 1 might be considered one of those players that, like, you know, requires a lot of setup. And with that mindset, you might think, oh, he would like to set up with his team, so it's a lot more organized. But then the fight kind of breaks out, and, you know, all of a sudden you have a Torbjorn who's, you know, maybe really far away from his turret, you know, with his overload ability activated with 100 extra armor or 50 extra armor. And, you know, just spamming some right clicks, or probably left clicks now with the Torb changes that went into effect recently. So it's one of those things where you think Torbjorn would be really disciplined, but I mean, he can absolutely, you know, kind of hold his own in some, especially some certain 1v1s against other DPS.
Yeah, I'm really, because they're gonna go with Li Zhang, and I don't know if is that the pick you want to go for? Like, is that something you would agree with or think they could go for?
It's interesting, Li Zhang. Like right now, all of my mindsets, and this would be the case if I was Citizens, are based around how does this play with Torb. And I think Gardens, you know, you're gonna have a hard, if they choose to go Torb, Gardens might be a little hard to run, you know, quad DPS, because you'd want to run something like a Pharah or, you know, a Pharah Mercy combo. On the command center, I think with the narrow hallways, it might be a little harder to utilize that Torb. And on Night Market, it's honestly just a big old question mark to me. I would love to see how phase 1 may have prepared to use the Torb in this composition, if they have at all.
Yeah, and I think they have. I think we saw it coming out last time as well, Razor the Torbjorn onto Li Zhang, but that might just be my memory being weird. But yeah, I mean, Li Zhang, it's an interesting thing. We've seen teams run Torbjorn here. I mean, obviously Clockwork Vendetta does it because they do it everywhere. But I think we've even seen Shanghai Dragons or Florida against Florida Mayhem at some point do it. So it's not an uncommon pick here. It all depends on, like, where do you set the turret out, where do you go with the team. You know, are you going to go for the crossfire, or rather than the more linear behind the Arista Shield style? So yeah, that Citizens has some things to think about. But on the other hand, they're going to ban the Torb. You know what?
Yeah,
it's not out the window.
Not
of course,
too much about it.
Last time, though, it's a bit different from last time, though, because last time they banned out Romanov's heroes. They went for the Ashe, they went for the Reaper. This time they're just going to go for Razor's Torbjorn. And, you know, maybe they listen to the interview. Razor is the main shot caller. Maybe if he's not on the Torbjorn, there will be a difference in what happens. So I don't know what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of consider it a game of balance. If you're able to knock your opponent off balance just a little bit, you might be able to tip them the rest of the way. I think Citizens might be looking for anything they can kind of get an advantage with. And, you know, I don't necessarily disagree with the Torbjorn ban. I think it was proving to be very effective. And again, it's one of those things that you may not have a whole lot of work practicing against. So I think there's definitely some logic to it. We're gonna be hopping in here though, seeing what our first submap is here in just a moment.
Yeah, definitely, and we're gonna go on for Gardens to start off with. So that is I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing for either team, to be honest, because it's Gardens. Gardens can go in a lot of different ways. Not having the Torbjorn there might make it a little bit more interesting. Then again, I don't think Razor is a Torbjorn one trick. I think he's got more up his sleeve than just that Swedish. Shorter gentleman. Let's keep it at that. And yeah, I don't know. Let's see what's gonna happen here because they're gonna sell the heroes in a little bit.
Yeah,
Reaper
and
isn't banned, of course, and Ashe isn't either. So Romanov is gonna have a field day regardless.
yeah, Romanov going to be feeling pretty comfortable here. Of course, the kind of second DPS that we often kind of neglect to talk about, except I guess when it came to those headshots, if memory served, on Hollywood. But we're not going to be seeing any Pharahs, it looks like, at least not at the onset here. Team still kind of perhaps switching, mulling around what they want to run. But this Orisa Diva combo, I'm not against it. It's just not, it's not the tank combo we usually see. Usually it's something along the lines of Diva Winston or Orisa Roadhog. I'm curious to see how the play is going to be coming through here from Citizens, incorporating both these heroes.
Orisa's on both sides. It's going to be the triple DPS versus the 2-2-2. Blue Power Raid's on the Mei, and we see Default on the McCree here. So Citizens is doing something different once again.
Yeah, and they're definitely trying to utilize Cybot, but Cybot gonna have to be
Romanov. Romanov's already got defaults, and Salieri is trying to just walks into the middle of the enemy team, just dies for it. Wreck Attack also down. Look a dominant first fight here for phase 1, and I gotta wonder. What was happening there?
Yeah, it just did not look that organized. It looks like Cybot was trying to get, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, a little bit of advantage, with a boop perhaps coming through from the Lucio. It looks like the pause might be being called. Not quite sure here. Yeah, it looks like the pause is going to be being called. But maybe just, the entire team not playing together. Perhaps they didn't quite understand what they were going for. At the end of the day, what really matters is the results. And as we're seeing, it's going to be, that first point going in favor of FaZe.
Yeah, it definitely is. They're already up to 14%, so they'll be able to keep that going for a little bit at least. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's they do try different things here for Citizens, but they really need to show that something is working. And if we're to believe the interview that we had before the match, obviously even if they know the counter, that's not going to be enough. They already said, their coach thought that he had a counter, but then he didn't. And now, he still probably doesn't. And even if he does, then we have a counter for the counter. So it's like they need to overcome the first hurdle, which is, being able to actually beat this composition or beat phase 1, like on what they're doing now. And then they got to go into the next phase, which is if they switch, what do they switch to and how do we deal with that? Yeah. So there's a little bit of that extra level. And Citizens is really being made to play the phase 1 game, and I think that's the main problem that they're having right now. They're not allowed to play their own game right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't say I disagree with that. And it's, you start to get into the, you were just talking about it. What can Citizens really reliably run against this? Well, you think, oh, well, maybe they can pull out the quad DPS, but you see Vulcan on this Sombra, and Cal, if they're saving those sleep darts, might be able to get that Hammond really out of position at the inopportune times. It's kind of a really tough gambit. Plus the Orisa from Salt Shaker just seems really, really controlling for the now defending side.
Yeah, they don't have that much long range damage. Like, it's basically all the Ashe, maybe a bit of the Orisa and the Ana, but there's not that much range damage they have. Default's now also on that Ashe to get away Blue Power Raid. They will have a little bit of more of a ranged potential and a little bit more burst maybe from a longer range. But they do have to start getting some kills. They're not doing the damage just yet. They're just facing off a little bit, trying to rotate, trying to find a way in, and they're not able to do so. It's just they're having a lot of trouble trying to actually get anywhere close to the enemy. And when they get close, it's just going to be Razor on that Reaper, ready for everything. And he's just on the flank, on the prowl. Gets booped up by Cybot, though. Cybot finally getting the value out of that Lucio. There is the Bob from Romanov. Gets the kill in Salieri immediately. And the nano onto Romanov as well. There's so much damage coming out from that Ashe. Gets the kill on the default. And that's just going to be another fight, one for phase 1. And we're going to go to last fight potential here.
Yeah, and that was really just kind of good conservation coming through from phase 1. They see Razor go down, and they say, okay, that's all right. We have the Bob. We'll use that comfortably. I believe they also may have used the Nano coming into it. And now they've put side of Citizens in a very tough spot, especially with that EMP.
Yeah, EMP immediately comes out and they get so much value out of that. Razor's throws it a celebratory death lossing because at this point there's nothing that's going to happen. Blue Power Raid gets the kill, but doesn't really matter if you're not on the objective because that is the first stage of Lijiang going over to phase 1. Only one stage away from getting the first best of 3 series in their pocket.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking pretty favorable for phase 1 going into this first set here. And I mean, you can't necessarily argue with it. They've shown flexibility, right? We were talking about how Razor is probably not just a one trick, and I mean, it's showing. They're showing some severe comfortability, I'd say. And I'm liking what I'm seeing coming out of them right now. I'm hoping that this Bastion's for real and not for play.
Yeah, it's probably for play, but we don't know. I mean, they could have a strat with it. They've been throwing curveballs all along. If it's a Bastion goats that they're throwing out, that would be really interesting. They're gonna go with their Reaper goats though. Romanov is gonna stick on that Reaper, so no third tank. It's gonna be the Reaper 3-2-1, and the May 3-2-1 on the other side.
Yeah.
Ooh, smacking into each other. Their front line. There's a little bit more healing on the side of Citizens, so they should be able to do more. But a little bit more damage on the other side. More crowd control. They have a lot of factors weighing into against each other, so they're just smacking out the wall, not really doing that much, but did split up a little bit. Salieri, once again, one of the first to fall in these fights, and it's just going to be phase 1 trying to wash over Citizens, and they're doing a pretty good job of it. Getting the kill to Blue Power Rate. Not getting that much more, though. They're trying to go as far as they can, but Romanov not quite making it to spawn. Already just shattered from Salt Shaker. They just want to get this over with as quick as possible. Salieri going off the map once again, and I don't know, man. This is looking so good for phase 1.
Yeah, it really is phase 1 just coming in here strong. They're investing ultimates that, you know, they're confident they're not even going to need for the next couple team fights. We are going to be seeing Raktak have that Coalescence, Cal having that Transcendence, but aside from that, both teams have been keeping the ult banks at a very low level. The Maywall coming out early, but the big pin from Salt Shaker.
Salieri once again taken for a ride, but Salt Shaker's now in enemy territory, so will get taken down, and no res because there's no mercy. Nice charge from Salieri, but he doesn't get the Diva with it because she just flies on away. Razor has gone down in the meantime, though, and they do get the teammate on Vulcan as well, so it looks like it's still going to be a fight win here for Citizens, but that was a little bit of a weird one.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we're finally going to be seeing for the first time here on this control map, Citizens be in a little bit of the dominant position. They're going to be having this grab. They have the Earth Shatter as well as the Blizzard. A lot of ults going to be online for both teams as we speak, but really, I'm surprised they're not going to be getting a little bit more aggressive with that May to hold up front.
I think they weren't ready with Salieri yet because he was still coming back from spawn, so that might have been why. The Shatter gets 2, but the counter Shatter gets more. The Sound Barrier comes out for both teams, but there is a grab. There is Transcendence as well. I hear the Death Blossom come out, but I don't think it got much. The Blizzard just cleans it up probably, but they need to get it's a little more kills, and Citizens looks like they're going to be able to clean it up. Romanov is trying to turn the tides, though. Already got the kill on 1, and now Salieri going down as well. This is a relatively even fight still. Romanov just powering on through, goes into the face of default here, but doesn't really have to health to work with, so it's going to be him being taken out, and they might be able to contest this still. It's going to be Cybot and Blue still on the point there. And now they're coming back. I don't know what's going to happen. Salieri's close to Earth Shatter, though, so this could be a big one if he hits it. And he does hit it. Razor going down on the ground, also going down Salt Shaker. So this looks definitely to be just a flip back from Citizens. They lost the point for a little bit, but they do flip it back quickly enough.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as they can get rid of kind of some of the stragglers. Nox still hanging around here, though, just trying to buy a little bit of time. But I mean, at the end of the day,
it's 6%. It's a little bit of it.
Now we're gonna be seeing the Orisa come out from the side of Salt Shaker. When in doubt, Orisa's out. It seems to be coming through from phase 1. They feel pretty confident in it, and I mean, Razor hopping onto this Junkrat, it's gonna be a little bit of a missing ult charge battle here, but I think that they're gonna feel confident enough in the Junkrat to make it worth it.
Yeah, they got the Reaper ult, they got both support ults, so they're gonna run into this Blizzard and this Grab combo, so they really need to be a little bit safe with their ultimates in order to make those worth it. There's the Graph already, gets everything but the Lucio, and Death Blossom once again comes out to sort of deny that follow-up. but it doesn't really matter because Romanov will go down as a result. And this is going to be the last fight. They have to win this if they're phase 1 if they want to keep contesting this map. It's going to be Razor going down as well, so both DPS out of it. Yes, they still have Vulcan, but that Mei is not the biggest DPS queen. It's mostly just zoning, and it's going to be... Yeah, it looks like this is going to be Citizens cleaning it up. They're going to get another stage, and we're going to 1-1 here on Li Jiang, eventually. If Romanov also will follow, yes, he will. And that's going to be the... yeah, it's going to be a tie-up here, and that excites me a little bit, because... Yes, this point is a little bit more close. It's a bit different from the other two. But similar compositions could be run on Night Market.
Yeah, Night Market's kind of the one I'm most excited for, aside from the fact that it's going to be breaking a 1v1. We're also going to be seeing it played, you know, without the Torb that we might be expecting from Razor. And, man, Citizens, when it finally came down to that 3v3 or that 1-2-3 style comp, they looked a little bit better on it. They took a couple losses, but they were able to recollect themselves. A really resilient team here, I think we're saying. They still haven't lost all their will to fight just yet. They're still in this.
And they're definitely still in it. And you know, it's, even if they lose this one, it's still there's still another best of 3 series. But I think you'd want to at least win one map in order to feel a little bit better about yourselves. And you know, the fact that they win that stage is just a good confidence booster. And now they're going to have to run into it. And we see these very similar compositions come out. But Romanov is back on the Ashe, and that has been a powerhouse so far.
Yeah, and I mean, we talk about it. It's a good long-range character for that damage.
They're spamming down the shield of Orisa a lot, like very well this time around. So Salt Shaker not getting that much opportunity to really advance. Razor tries to get forward a little bit, but he can't really do that much when he's too far away on that Reaper. Another shield going down here for Salt Shaker, so they're getting all this free damage down, and it's going to be Citizens taking first point control. That's good for them. That's exactly what they wanted, and now they got to hold on to it for basically up to 100%.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last game we casted here, where the GOATS is just so good at getting on point, and you know, it can buy a lot of time. So we're looking at probably a little bit of time coming in through for the Citizens, and especially with that Coalescence.
So much damage going out of phase 1, but it's all healed back up. So now they got to still get the value. The Bob is out, not getting that much value just yet, and Romanov's Bob will actually go down. There's another nice pull from Salt Shaker. Doesn't get the value, and the anti-nade on Salieri is just cleansed up by a nice bubble. That's a really good dynamite though, but Salieri is still alive. Doesn't get value out of the shatter, but at least zoned him out a little bit. But there is the Death Blossom, gets 2. Yes, Salt Shaker Razor will also fall. It's still a very even fight. This fight is just breaking out everywhere. Blizzards everywhere. No one getting frozen though from either of them, but they get the res on Salt Shaker, and that's a big one because now they have a main tank and the enemy team doesn't. So Citizens just gonna get cleaned up here, and it looks like the point is finally gonna flip to phase 1, but 51%. That's a nice start.
Yeah, again, that felt like just one long team fight. It didn't really feel like it was kind of the conclusion. It was just, oh, you know, the Citizens took it for the first point, and then the fight never ended until it finally, you know, did, with phase 1 getting some dominance onto the point. But really, they're switching on to Razor with this Junkrat, and I like it. I like how much ult charge the Junkrat will be able to build against these big tank-style targets, particularly Salieri.
A lot of ultimates online for both teams. I mean, a few ultimates, mostly for Citizens though. Like they have both their 2 tank ultimates. They have a support ult. The other side, they don't really have that much to work with besides that Bob and this. Oh, that's a nice self-destruct. It actually gets knocked, so that's a huge pick because that will mean they have no res in this fight. Bob is doing a lot of damage here, but might actually DMAC Frosted if he keeps going. But it looks like Bob will not get that much final value, just a lot of poke damage, and Salt Shaker going down. Like I said, no res, so that's actually big. Main tank and a main healer gone. Or sort of main support gone, not main healer, but that's a nice anti-nade and a dynamite. That's so much damage at Cybon and Blue Power Raid. They do barely manage to stay alive, but that was close. Romanov's such a menace here on that Ashe.
Yeah, it just was looking so good. I'm loving this kind of kickback we're seeing from the Citizens. Razor actually trying to dive over Salieri's shield.
Default's gonna switch because they know they've used the graph and they don't need it, and Default's gonna go over to the Widowmaker. So they're gonna provide an off-angle shot, I suppose.
Yeah, it's gonna make it very difficult for the side of phase 1 to really kind of cut these angles. It's gonna come down to Sniper v Sniper, it seems, from Romanov and Default. Romanov, of course, getting the damage boost from Nox as well.
But Default is going to be very uncontested. Romanov is going for the flank, though. Is going to try to go underneath and just boop up there. But it's going to be Razor the first to fall, and Nox nowhere near to get that res off. And Romanov and Nox are zoning out default a little bit, but that means it's a 2v1, and they already lost someone, which means Citizens takes position on the point and gets a dominant positioning there. The Nano Bob, Romanov does fall, and so does Nox. Default actually gets the kill on both of them, and that's a huge pick from that Widowmaker. Bob does a lot of damage, doesn't get any kills, and looks like it's going to be Citizens taking Lijiang Tower here in not too long. That was a good switch from default. It really worked out for them.
Yeah, that was some very forward thinking when it came to going to that Widow. They know that the angles are probably gonna have to be taken a little bit quicker because of the time bank left for phase one. Meaning that they're not able to play as tightly around that shield, and because of that, you get those headshots coming through for the Widowmaker. I think we really kind of saw it working to its full potential there. I love to see it.
Yeah, we do love to see it, and it's just the fact that default, just the fact that they made that switch. I think that's a very intelligent thing as well, because we talked about it before, where a lot of the comps here that phase one's running is not necessarily that strong on long range. So if it's a linear map where you don't really have the opportunity to shoot from other angles, then sure, a Widowmaker will not do you any good, or long range is not really that necessary. But when you get to take this off angle, the default by default would get because of the way the map is structured, the Widow is such a strong and smart pick to do. Because even if he didn't get those kills onto Romanov and Nox, he still occupied the Ashe and the Mercy on his own. While Razor was already down on the Junkrat, so that entire fight was just that one switch was just everything they really needed. And I'm really interested to see what's going to happen. Like, what map are they going to go to? And is there going to be, like, similar opportunities? Of course, the Torbjorn won't be able to be banned out again. But I don't know if that was the difference maker, really. Yeah,
I mean, I agree. But I think phase one might feel a little bit comfortable knowing that the ball's kind of in their court for that aspect. Citizens really only, if memory serves, are going to get to save a hero. But they seem to be more so in the style of playing around phase one. So if you're to have to kind of predict what phase one's going to run and then predict what's going to best run counter to that, it's a lot harder of a game than just saying, oh yeah, we'll ban one of the key components of their compositions. It's one of those much higher level thinking situations to be in.
Yeah, and we were gonna go with a ban on Junkertown here, which is I don't know if that's a smart pick or not, but Junkertown is always one of those maps where anything can happen. So you'd think that Citizens maybe wants to go there because they want to make anything happen. But then again, I think Junkertown might also be one of those maps where chaos thrives. So that's because anything can happen. That might be something that phase one is better on. I don't really know. I think they just might say like, oh, we don't like Junkertown, so we just won't do it. But I don't know what's phase one gonna go for, because they obviously get to pick the map now. But Citizens gets to save the hero. Phase one gets to ban the hero. I don't know if they're gonna go for. It's all a little bit of a up in the air for me.
Yeah. Oh, okay. This is a first. This is a first for me in a long time. We're gonna actually see Paris come on.
I should have guessed it, honestly. Yeah. I mean, Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things where that makes sense. I don't know. It's such a good Orisa Torbjorn map it just works for the style they're playing. What I am a little bit worried about is I'm just worried about Citizens right now because they had so much trouble breaking it on Hollywood already that Paris is just such an extra factor on top of it that I don't know what they're gonna do. What I am interested to see though is maybe they're gonna pull something out like a Sombra or something, because that could be the thing that really breaks open a comp like that, especially just deletes the Orisa hold that they have. So it makes it easier to go forward. The turret will be disabled, stuff like that. I don't know. That could be something.
Yeah, EMP blasts definitely very favorable against compositions that are all clustered up. And when you say clustered up, I pretty much just think bunker, maybe some old school death ball. But it's going to be really kind of one of those more vulnerable comps if you do run that. If you do run that Sombra. However, worth noting for those of you at home, we are going to be seeing a switch of sides here. Phase one now going to be on the right in red. Citizens going to be on the left in blue, excuse me. And just as a heads up, don't want you guys to get caught off guard. Also, I have not plugged this cast yet, but don't forget to vote For the
MVPs.
Yeah, you gotta remember, folks. I know I'm forgetting of being a bad example, but please don't forget yourselves. Be better than your fellow.
We're not even halfway yet because we still have at least 3 maps to go, including Paris. So it's all still up the tip. We still have a lot of time to decide. Oh, also, if you're on D Live, I know there's no panel. Don't be worried. We know it's not there because we can't put it there or something. Just quickly go to Twitch, vote there, go back to D Live. Like that's all you need to do in that case. If you are more generous than just click on MVP votes, obviously we also love for you guys to just hit the follows, hit the donations, hit the subs. It's everything we can do to bring you more content, and we love bringing you content. I think the content that we're bringing you tonight is particularly tasty.
Yeah, speaking of some interesting and tasty content, we're actually going to be seeing the ban come out from Phase 1 onto the Bastion. So they're definitely not looking to play that traditional Bastion bunker that we see on Paris. And, I can't say I'm surprised because, they seem to be working the Torbjorn just fine. Torbjorn and Bastion, kind of the two idealistic turret heroes, if you had to make me pick two. Yeah.
You know what? They haven't really picked heroes yet, so we can't really say much. And we hadn't seen them pick Bastion on Hollywood, but I don't know. There's a lot of things they could potentially be doing. Last time the Bastion didn't work out for them, but it could work out for them on this map if they want to play it. Paris has just not been a very much played map, so it could be that because Phase 1 feels like they're prepared for anything, they're just gonna throw it in there, just throw them for a loop. We do see the Ashe come out from default and the Junkrat for blue Powerade. And Frosted is going to go over to the Torbjorn. So they are going to go for that combo. So they're essentially running the Phase 1 comp now, because they're also running that double support. This is just the Phase 1. We're just going to call it the Phase 1 comp. And they've transitioned, from Citizens to... Citizens 1 or Citizens Phase. I don't really know. They've done their Phase 1 citizenship. I think that's something we can go for, right?
Well, yeah, we'll call it that. But Citizens definitely deciding, hey, now we start on defense. Now we go Torb, and they're going to be running up against the Sombra Genji coming up here, and this is interesting. I don't know how I feel about the Winston Orisa. It's very divey, very bunkery at the same time. Kind of interesting.
We've seen them do it before. We have seen it before as well. Like the double main tank can actually be very powerful nowadays. There's going to be Sombra. There's Romanov just trying to do a little bit of that point cap. It's not really something happening there. Salt Shaker taken out by default.
Oh,
not in time with that shield. And Romanov also falling. Nice start here. I do want to say, though, whenever you're going to Paris, whenever you go to these bunkers, almost everyone runs Sombra, but even more than that, I always see this Ana Genji. And I know it's powerful, guys. Don't get me wrong. I know that Nano Blade is, always the free fight win, but I don't think a lot of teams getting enough value out of it. And you already see Razor and Nox just switching over. They're going to go over to the Hanzo, the Pharah. It's just all there now. They're changing that up. No Sombra as well.
Well, I mean, that Genji is something that's so hard to get some severe utility out of, especially if the entire team's behind a shield. He doesn't necessarily have the best shield break, so if you're not getting some poke outside of those shields, it can take a while to build up that ultimate.
Oh, nice Hull Dynamite combo. That's something you don't see a lot, and it's like nice that Phase 1 has gotten those combos, at least in practice, or they're talking about those. It's going to be Salt Shaker under a lot of pressure as well. Also got the Dynamite on him, but Frosted is so low. Do they get the finish? Get the final blow? No. It's going to be healed up again by Saib up there. Romanov, though, is taking a nice off angle. They've been pushing them back slowly but surely. Now Blue Pirate and Saibot going down. It looks like they've just broken it. And with the long respawns, I don't think they're going to be able to get back to point A here.
Yeah, it does not seem like that is going to quite be the case. The DPS doing some solid work coming through here from... Phase 1, we're seeing a lot of far off angles. Orisa, Salt Shaker just kind of getting up in the grill of the side of Citizens who don't really know how to act, causes them to be a little bit frazzled, which allows the DPS for Phase 1 to take a little bit of advantage. But there's going to be a lot of ultimates coming online for Phase 1. We're seeing the Nano. We're going to be seeing
Phase 1, yeah.
Yeah,
we're also Blue Powerade just swapped off.
Yeah, that's going to be
something
costly.
to mention. Blue Powerade didn't even have 70% towards that tire yet after all that. So that, and he's not switched over to the Hanzo, of course, but that was not a lot of ult charge. That's something that Citizens really... They didn't get that much value out of the Junkrat, which is a shame, because he could do a lot of spam damage, but they just couldn't land the shots, apparently.
Yeah, well,
the rotation's coming out for Phase 1 here. and they're gonna go in behind them. There's the Bob already zoning everything out. The Mirage just follows it up. They do actually manage to counter that out with a Nano Diva, but Salieri going down, Frosted also falling. It looks like phase 1 is just gonna roll over to point B and just take it away. The assault changes, apparently not enough.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing like some rush heroes come out just to try to get onto point. The Hammond, the Winston as well, but it's not gonna quite be enough. As you said, Kill's gonna be coming through, and we're gonna be seeing phase 1 take both points. Actually gonna have just 1 more second than they started off with on the attack here.
Yeah, it's still it's something that they will have to live with. That they I mean, they gave them an extra second on the side of Citizens. Not really a gift though. I mean, they had to still fight for it, obviously. But Citizens now going to go over to their attempt, and I feel they're going to run into a very similar composition on the defense. So let's see if they have a different way of dealing with it or a very similar way of dealing it. Yeah, like I said, I think a main thing that you saw is that Junkrat just didn't get a lot of value, because normally when they get that close to coming in, you throw out the tire and then you get at least 1 or 2 kills, and then you're going to be fine again.
Right.
But he just didn't get ult charge.
Yeah, that's just some good angle and shield discipline coming in, not allowing that Junkrat spam to really kind of get caught out, or catch you out rather, from the side of phase 1. They really just did not give any opportunity for that damage to come through. And I mean, we were just talking about it. It shows. It absolutely shows there.
No, it definitely shows. And then, if they had that tire, because that's the thing, right? Even if he doesn't use it for point A, if he had it, he could have just used it for point B as just stopping the snowball. That's like the way he could have used it. But yeah, because he didn't have it, he couldn't, and he switched over to the Hanzo, and it's not a mistake. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not Citizens playing bad or anything. That's probably, like you said, a lot to do with phase 1 and the shield positioning.
Yeah, I'm definitely liking it. Salt Shaker, a very good Orisa through historically, so definitely not too surprised to see that a lot of that damage is getting mitigated.
Yeah, and they're running the exact same composition of defense, almost. Vulcan is on the Hanzo, not on the Junkrat. And that might have something to do with what we just saw coming out, because the Junkrat value wasn't really there for the defensive Citizens, and they might already be aware of that on the side of phase 1, so that's why they're not running it.
Yeah, and really, we're just seeing a lot of poke come through from both sides. Turrets going down, turrets coming back up. The Hog Orisa combo has some potential here from Citizens if they're able to catch someone out, though.
Yeah, they're really trying to get that halt out, and because they also have a Diva, Frosted is trying to eat a lot of that. Blue Power Ray does take down Romanov, so they have a little bit more room to walk forward without that. Salieri! Oh, no, actually, sorry, that Salt Shaker gets hooked out. Will get down, and there's no res, so they have the main tech advantage. No shield for the defense. That's going to be a very good progress here. They're going to just be able to walk forward. Romanov and Razor, though, take down Rack Attack and Default, and that's picks you didn't want to give away. Romanov does fall, finally, but is this going to be so much damage still left? No, it's not, because Razor also goes down, and they have 2 supports still there. But with those long respawns, I think that's the main thing you got to walk about. Yes, the rules changed, but Salt Shaker never had time enough to get back. He's barely made it out of the front door of point B.
Yeah, it's going to look like a little bit of a trot back, but there's not going to be as many ults in favor of the Citizens this time around. In fact, they're going to be going up against a Nano, so a Nano on both sides. Cybot might be able to get close to that whole Hog, but whole Hog perhaps not the most fight-shifting ult that we've seen in the game, especially outside of some nutty environmental kills.
It could maybe be combined with a Nano. You could also maybe go... You could throw it on many people, to be honest. But default's now on the McCree. It's an interesting change-up. And has been showing up on that hit scan tonight. I mean, especially on the last map with that Widow. They're going to break the shield a lot earlier. They have a little bit more shield bait potential on the side of Citizens. But they got to find a position where they can actually get some follow-up from the halts and from the shield breaks. Because right now is just poke. And with more poke, it's going to be more ultimates for both sides.
Yeah, we're already seeing the ultimate start to flow through here.
Romanov flash, but not finished off. There's the Molten Core coming out from the Torbjorn, but he throws it kind of next to the team. Not really on them because of the weird angle that the high ground provides there. So not that much value. It's a little bit of zoning, but not that much. Salt Shaker takes out the Salt Shaker's bongos are being taken out, and now they are there for the side of Citizens. They get the kill on the Cybot, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. Falcon goes down. That's big. They missing the Reinhardt and Salt Shaker as well. That's all the shields gone. Well, so is Nox, so is Razor, so is Romanov, and everything just turns around there. Yes, they're a little bit below the time bank, but it looks like they're just going to be able to take the point with all of that. It's just going to be Cal trying to get back on, but just gets booped away by Frosted, and that's going to be it. That was very quick. They just turned everything around all of a sudden.
Yeah, their second push took a little bit longer, but I think that, you know, the first push was good enough to definitely keep competitive. We're only seeing less than 10 seconds of a difference between these two teams' time banks. And man, we are going to be seeing it, I predict, come down, you know, pretty intensely here. This might be one of the nail biters, considering this is, if memory serves, going to be the one map for the set. So teams taking this map will have the lead up going into the next set themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they do need to definitely get a little bit more of a defense out for both teams. I will say though, I think point A was a little bit quicker for Citizens, but then point B was faster for phase one. So I think they both have some areas to work on, obviously, especially in their defense department, I'd say. But I think Citizens actually had a better defense first time around because the snowball on B is a lot harder to stop. So they had less room for error basically on B than phase one had. So Citizens might actually be in that regard looking up a little bit, and they gotta attack first this time, but not much is going to change from either side. Vulcan is going to be on the Junkrat this time around, so apparently the Hanzo didn't work out for them, or at least they felt like it didn't. But maybe Vulcan will also not get that much value out of the Junkrat. We don't know. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, again, I think this is going to come down to Cybot and Salieri. They played really well with that hook grab combo, getting Salt Shaker, I believe it was, out of position. And once you disable that Orisa, it enables a lot.
Yeah, they're going to try this again. Nice Anton and Romanov, and we'll be able to get the safety and just get healed back up. But that's a little bit of a misposition. Now they're going to, or like disposition at least, but they're going to be able to get forward. Dynamite gets eaten, and they're going to be able to get the Halt Hook on the Salt Shaker again. But I mean, it didn't miss it, but there was a little bit of a barrier in the way. Yeah, a bench and a little bit of a wall part. But they're going to get another hook. Romanov will fall as a result, and that's not a resible position. So Romanov is going to be out for this one. Turret from Razor once again gets taken down. Now they're going to push forward on the Salt Shaker. Another Halt Hook combo. They're just tearing them apart with these Halt Hooks. Cybot and Salieri showing up here, and it's just going to be... Well, they're just going to clean it up. Vulcan, yes, gets one kill here on the blue power rate, but that's not going to be enough. And Vulcan is relatively close to that tire, but will it be enough to stop this push?
It's going to be questionable here, but it doesn't look like it. They're going to switch to that Orisa Rhine again, or they're going to switch to the Rhine again, rather. And this is looking almost carbon copy for what we saw last time around. Citizens doing a very strong first point, only going to have the Ana Nano boost to really push with. We're going to see if they take as long moving forward. A nice sleep onto Razor early on from Rack.
Yeah, nice pull once again. No follow-up from the hook because the shield was there from Salt Shaker. Now they have two shields. So even if Salt Shaker shield's not there, they have Vulcan shield. They did this last time around. Didn't really work out that well for them. But it might be this time. Default's on the Ashe though, not on the McCree. So no flashes for Romanov. But still a lot of pressure from that Ashe, especially with that Dynamite. They're going to just face off against each other. Shield versus shield. There's another halt. But Salieri was too far in alone and we just got taken down. So does Frosted out of the mech. Out of life pretty soon as well. Though they're gonna go for a little bit of stall. Default gets the kill onto Vulcan though, but they're not gonna be able to turn this around, are they? Default does get a few kills, so they are at least trying to get some more value out of their positioning. Because it doesn't look like phase one wants to chase anymore, and that means they can do some long range damage.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we're seeing it now. The ult starting to really come out. Cybot did use that whole hog, and I mean they keep taking down this turret, and you know the turret down is another damage source you're not gonna have to worry about. And, you know, they really need to kind of try to see if they can capitalize upon that moment of weakness. D.Va trying to negate a lot of that Molten Core damage.
Yeah, Molten Core just, like you said, does come out. It's just the zoning one again. It's better than the last one they had on B, though, because this one actually zones them out properly. So they're going to be able to not really walk forward that bar. But there's so much damage coming out from both sides. But a Dragon gets two! That's a huge one because of the pool of Salieri coming in. And that's just a nice combo. They're really combining with Salieri really well. The now onto blue power rate, but he gets slept. Let's get taken out, but not before they take down Salt Shaker. Razor in the corner with Romanov and Salieri. And who's going to die first? The Beyblade, the self-destruct. All these ultimates coming out, and they're just not getting the kills inside of Citizens. It's actually going to be phase one holding on, but they had to use so much for it on both sides.
is going to be fatal. You're absolutely going to want to get at least one tick if you're on the side of Citizens. And really, to do that, you only have a Bob and Whole Hog. You did invest quite a bit into that last one. And I thought the blue Powerade was going to be a severely fight-changing ult. Did not seem to quite go that way. They got 1 or 2 kills from
left. They're rotating far left, so they're completely, because phase 1 is completely set up on the left side, on the other side. Then they have to rotate, and meantime, yeah, they do rotate in time, but they have already made some progress here. The Bob goes onto the point. That's a little bit of pressure there. It does get slept. Will get back up. That's a nice shatter coming out from Vulcan. Then they got the follow-up. They at least get the D-Mech, but the whole hog from Cybot just gets them out. Both Vulcan and Romanov falling, and this looks to be turning in favor of Citizens. Yes, the sound barrier comes out, but they need damage. They need damage in order to get some kills, because if they don't get kills, they're not going to be able to turn the fight around at all. They're just prolonging the inevitable. Nice Molten Core. Cybot is in the middle of it and might fall to that. Will eventually fall to the follow-up of it, but kills on both sides keep coming out, and it's going to be Vulcan and Romanov on the point here for phase 1. Romanov goes for Frosted, will take that mech out, but they gotta keep getting these kills on both sides, and it looks like it's actually gonna be phase 1 holding on to it, and not even a tick gotten. That fight, that could have gone very wrong there for phase 1, but they managed to keep holding on.
Yeah, Citizens were looking wily in every single one of those fights. It looked like it could have gone either way up until, I'd say, about the back quarter of the fight is when we really saw the tide start to shift really favorably in one direction. Either way, we're going to be seeing the side of Citizens only walking out with the 3rd point cap, so they will not have any progress on that 4th, meaning that the line in the sand once again has been drawn for the side of phase 1. And, you know, I'm pretty sure they're not going to feel too sour about that.
And who knows? I mean, it's 2 CP, guys. We could get a draw here, especially with long attack respawn timers. It's very hard to attack that point B if you start losing members on your attack. So I'm curious to see what this is going to be. And we saw phase 1 improve their defense. Not so much on point A, but definitely on point B. And who knows? Maybe Citizens could do the same. Maybe even do a better defense on point A and hold it. Because they have been definitely looking better. I mean, ever since Hollywood, they haven't really had as much issues. When Hollywood Gardens was the last one where they really felt a little bit underwhelming, but they have really started to adapt correctly, or at least in a good way.
Yeah, I certainly can't disagree with you there. I think a lot of that, again, I talked about it when they were first on the attack, but Citizens really kind of shaping up with Salieri and Cybot. The two seem to be very kind of in sync. Maybe the communication's a little bit stronger, but those hooks just coming in so cleanly. I anticipate it might be a little harder to do on the defense, but we're going to have to see as it shakes out.
They're gonna attack once again with this time they're using the Torbjorn and the Reaper. I don't know exactly what the idea is there. I mean, they're just gonna speed on through. It's gonna go through the left. The Hull does halt them a little bit, but Vulcan on that with that mobile shield of the Reinhardt is able to just block that out. They get the turret of Razor out, but not much else. They're just gonna wait for the next speed boost. You're just gonna go in. They're gonna do the exact same thing. And here they go. Just running through the Orisa Shield of Salieri. And now they're gonna try to get the kills. Romanov is the first to fall though. So that's a good thing for Citizens because that's less close range damage. But they're just cooped up in this room here. And phase 1 doesn't want to get out. I mean, they do, but they don't want to get out and get killed. They want to get out and get kills.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough spot when you're down 1, especially when it's that close range Reaper. You got to be feeling a little bit worse for wear when you're in those cramped areas, but Romanov going to be regrouping, meeting up with the team to get right back into it.
Oh, there's the nano onto Vulcan, but it's going to be Razor the first to fall. They took that off angle. Now Cybot's under pressure from Romanov, and Romanov falls to blue Powerade. So the trade's in favor of the defense here. Citizens gets another kill onto Nox, and Vulcan already falling as well. This is looking good for Citizens so far.
Yeah, it really is. Citizens kind of holding a good first point defense, and that's really what they need here. The Bob coming out now, that's a bit peculiar and so late into the fight.
Yeah, this is a super interesting match here so far because we look to phase 1 and it almost feels like they are the ones adapting now.
Yeah, yeah, it's very funny because that is kind of exactly how it feels. Razor on this Torbjorn. I mean, we've just seen the side of Citizens be so proactive about taking down that turret that they really haven't been able to get much utility out of it, and definitely
doing it again. They're speeding forward again. Not that much damage in their transition, but they're going far now. They're not trying to go up into the Tiger, they're trying to go far behind the point. There is the supercharger, but Soulchaker gets taken out, and that's just everything they do. They focus so much on that Hull hook combo, and it's working out so well for them. The Shadow of Vulcan doesn't even register because they kill him so fast. And yes, they're trying to run in now. It's actually Salieri going down, and there is no mercy here. But I feel that with all these staggers, Salieri might be able to come back in time, but it's a long way. This could actually work out very detrimental for Citizens with Salieri going down that late.
Yeah, Citizens are going to be having a little bit of a bank of ultimates, but not nearly, well, it's pretty close to what Phase 1 are going to be having in their pockets as well, but they are looking to get very aggressive on it. The Hog not going to be as effective, Cybot without the ability to get that Orisa positioning the enemy
Oh, they
team.
know Salieri's there. They're going to try and spawn camp Salieri out, and it's not just numbers advantage, it's shield number advantage. It's 2-1, not just 6-5.
But Soulshaker slept.
Yeah, Soulshaker slept. Salieri does manage to sneak his way back around to his team, so we'll be able to be there with the shield. And now they've given up all the advantage on the side here of Phase 1. They're gonna go into the point. They have actually made their rotation. The Soulshaker goes into the hut, gets only a turret, but there's the Nano Blossom for Romanov. Doesn't get any kills from that. Is still trying to get some follow-up, but it's Nox and Romanov falling next to Cybot. Bob on the point, so they will not get any more than a tick for now. There's gonna be Salieri on the point for the next contest. It's just going to be the tanks and Razor, and I don't think they're going to be able to sustain this because they don't have any healing there. Razor makes it into the building. They have 2 shields, but they need to really get kills if they want to complete this map, and it's only 28 seconds left. Volker falls, so does Saltshaker. Nox late, yes, Frosted falls, but they really need more. They need to get these kills. I think Razor's still alive in the backline as well. That stagger could be huge, and with 16 seconds left, I mean, I don't know if they're going to take this.
Yeah, there's not going to be any DPS rolling out right at the same time. We're going to be seeing the Wraith form come out of Romanov, and this is going to be tough. This is not looking great. We're going to be seeing the Hammond come out from Phase 1, but with Nox going down early, there's a little less speed.
And they don't even get there. Citizens takes the first best of 3, and after map 1, I don't know. I think a lot of us were a little bit in doubt. I mean, I'm not going to call out that I said they're not going to win ever. But it looked a little bit shaky. You know, map 1 went very, I would say, very convincingly to Phase 1, and then the first point of Lijiang as well, and then they just turn it around. It's Citizens, mate. They really are the comeback kings in a lot of scenarios.
Yeah, and I love the way you put it when we were on that second defense for the Citizens. It definitely looks like Phase 1 having to adapt a little bit, or at least like they're going to have to start, because they just kept trying to run this Reaper. They kept trying to run the Torb perhaps a little bit beyond the curve. And really, it was just going so well for Citizens. They were getting really on the ball, you know, getting those halt hook combos, taking out the turret so it doesn't get as much value. And that's what you need. You need to be proactive. You need to get that advantage in any way. And it's just completely worked out for them. I love it. And they might be making Phase 1 sweat just a little bit here.
Yeah, and talking about proactive, guys, I mean, I know you guys, a lot of you just want to wait until the match is over and then say, like, now I'm voting for my MVP. But you can be proactive in that as well. You can definitely say, I already know who's going to be the best. I already know that Salieri is going to get all the halts out. I already know that Vulcan is actually going to be playing a ton more Reinhardt, and that's just a hero you like a lot. You guys, there's a lot of decisions you have to make here, but you can definitely still vote for that MVP. And you know what you can also do? You can hit that like button. Oh no, wait, it's not YouTube. I'm sorry, guys. We're on Twitch and D Live. We don't do subscribe button. Oh, we do subscribe buttons, but it's a bit different. So, yeah, we do appreciate them though. Like if you have them, definitely give us those subscriptions.
Yeah, absolutely. Gonna be loving to see those people. We love putting up for the community, so we love seeing the community showing us the support as well. If you think you like what we're doing, definitely show us some love here. But as we move into the second set, we are going to be seeing Citizens in the advantaged seat here. Phase 1 going to be able to select the next map. If I'm not mistaken, there's not going to be any hero bans moving forth.
Nope, they're not. We're resetting that, so the map bans are, I don't know if the map bans are reset, but the hero bans are definitely not going to be happening for the first map. So we're just going to go to Temple of Anubis, another assault map. Which after Paris, no, I would normally say Phase 1 has the advantage there, but after Paris, we now know that that's not necessarily the case. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I mean, I yes and no. I agree that, you know, Phase 1 looking a little bit shakier than they did at the start, but Anubis has some pretty good Widow positioning, and we've seen Romanov perform very well on those hit scan heroes. We saw that glorious 4K coming through in Hollywood as well. You know, aside from, you know, the end result of the game, I think the Ashe play was pretty solid coming through from this player as well.
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to be Phase 1 on the attack. Citizens selecting to defend first time around. As we mentioned before, no bans or saves going to be going in, so we should be getting into Anubis here rather quickly. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see this second set.
Yeah, I really am, and there's a lot of things to be excited about. I mean, we definitely going to be seeing a lot of heroes that we haven't really seen, a lot of high level play, and we have been seeing that all night. So I'm very excited. I will warn you guys though, if you think it's fun now, Orissa's going to be big. She's going to come back, and especially if we get a 2-2-2 lock, gonna see a lot of Orisa guys. So don't hate on me if that happens. But I love seeing it. I really like it, especially. I mean, you thought that the Orisa was really the play from phase 1, but then they come out with Salieri and Saibot, just that hold to hook combination, just immediately demolishing phase 1 with that. So I'm very, I don't know, like it's really going to be the question of who's going to have to adapt to who, because that's kind of been the thing here.
Yeah, really, that has been the case. And when I think about it, I don't know if we've seen a whole lot of off tanking come through from phase 1, because especially on Paris, we saw a lot of the Reinhardt Orisa, and I don't think they've
ever played it really. They play the main tanks, but not really the off tanks.
I think a lot of that is just because of the threat that Saibot has with those hooks. I mean, if you get pulled above that Orisa shield, you're very vulnerable. But if the Ryan gets pulled with you, you still have that big hulking rectangle in front of you. But I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll get to flex, or maybe they'll choose to flex a little bit here. Either way, I think it's kind of showing one aspect in which they haven't been too quick to hop on.
Yeah, and we're going to Anubis here. Obviously, a lovely place somewhere in Egypt. I don't exactly know where it is, because we never really confirmed in which city or which place this is. It looks to be near, like because we have the Sphinx there. Obviously, we have some pyramids, so it looks to be maybe like near Giza, etc. But I'm not exactly sure. What I do know though is it's in the desert where there's a lot of camels. And did you know that like the biggest menu item you can get anywhere around the world is actually roasted camel?
The biggest menu item.
Yeah, biggest menu item.
You mean like by volume?
Yeah, by volume. I think I think that's what they mean, at least.
Just get a whole roasted camel. That is.
Yeah, it's just like the largest item on any menu in the world is a roast camel. So like you just get a whole roast camel. I think that's how. I've never seen it, but yeah, I trust that's probably what it's like.
That's terrifying if you ask me. But
is it though? I mean, they have like these large bumps of fat on their back, so that should be really juicy.
Well, rather when I mean that, I mean I imagine one person sitting down to a meal of an entire camel. The thought of one person eating that is terrifying.
I think that wouldn't really happen, but who knows? Maybe it's different than we imagine it. We're gonna see this same defense coming out here for Citizens once again. They've run this as well. They're running the solo support rack attack once again because they want to run this triple tank, and this triple tank has really been working out for them.
Yeah, definitely have to agree. However, the hook not quite coming through.
But doesn't matter because Cal goes down, and so does Romanov. They're just able to pincer them into that room and get the follow-up on the damage they were already doing.
Yeah, and now it's the side of phase 1 going to be kind of stuck in an unenviable position of having 4 of their members just trapped in a room. They don't really know what to do. Yeah,
Vulcan was ready for that. He was like, I've got to wall, someone's going to walk in here. I've got to wall them off. And then Blue Powerade almost fell for the trap, but got out in time. Saibot is not really in a position to hook anyone right now, but doesn't need to be if Blue Powerade just takes down Vulcan, because Salt Shaker was slept. Huge sleep dart coming out there for rack attack. No shield ready, and just the Hanzo arrow through the head of the Mei. So now they're gonna have to try again, and they really have trouble to get together as a 6 and push.
Yeah, and Frosty got slept, but it looked like was woken up by perhaps Romanov, maybe Razor. But that was perhaps a critical mistake. You'd like to keep that D.Va out of the fight as much as possible, preventing that damage mitigation. But so far, not a big explosive burst coming through from either team. Sally or Saibot getting caught out might be it, though.
He gets out. Oh, the nice anti-nade. It's a nice healing nade and everything. And just the save coming out there from Frost as well. Nano Hanzo with Salt Shaker, but it's being frozen up. Rack Attack and Blue Powerade both falling. Saibot does get the kill on the Salt Shaker, but that might not be enough, especially with him losing his own life. And it looks like phase 1 might have found the key to open this lock.
Yeah, and really, I think Vulcan was a big key in killing Blue Powerade right there, because Blue Powerade just could not get out. They even invested the nano boost from Rack Attack onto the Hanzo just to try to keep them alive, but Vulcan just kept them locked into place. Not really going to be letting that Hanzo travel anywhere, and this is dangerous for the side of Citizens. There are a lot of ults online for phase 1 right now.
5 minutes to go, and last time they got 4 minutes and 1 second on their point B attack. Maybe they'll get an even faster time because they could still make that, but it's going to be close. For now, they're just rotating around through this the crypt side of the map, really, and they're just gonna position on the point with that shield, but the shield's already broken. The sound barrier does come out, so does the blizzard, so they're actually putting themselves in a good position. But the dragon is zoning a lot, doing a lot of damage onto certain members. They get 1 tick, they get 2 ticks, and now the defense really is gonna come in. Romanov already falls, so that's a big pick, and a huge anti-nade as well from Rack Attack. Nox going very low, Razor falling, Cal also being under a lot of pressure here, but that Bob, that's gonna make the difference. Defaults Bob is just going to be the thing, and yeah, it looks like that's going to be the defense holding here. Close though, 88.6%.
Yeah, and that was, you know, I don't want to say it was a lot of ult invested, but there was not a light on the ult investment side for FaZe. They definitely kind of invested what they felt like, I'm sure, was quite a bit, and they came so darn close. They're 88%. They're going to be rolling up against a nano boosted whole hog potentially.
I mean, they really threw that roasted camel onto the point, didn't they?
Yeah, they absolutely did.
Yeah, sorry about that one, guys. I just felt like, hey, they're gonna keep running out with the same composition. Razor still on the Torbjorn, and Nox will actually fall to Blue Powerade early. Nice headshot coming out from that Hanzo. You gotta watch for those arrows, guys. I mean, they look like arrows, but they're actually logs that they throw at you.
Yeah, I mean, Hanzo does not play fair. He threw logs and small vehicles at enemies. Gonna definitely be something to keep eyes out for, especially if you're a little old Lucio, who's gonna be getting back with the team relatively quickly.
Another nice ult, but the hook gets blocked out by the wall. Nano Lucio though, Nox is on the point. Don't know if that's what they were aiming for, but Boostio is on the field. Doesn't really matter though. When Blue Powerade gets another 2 headshots, Nox falls as like late as well. It's phase 1 really not being able to get in here that easily.
Yeah, it's looking really good. You gotta like this. And man, it's just looking a little bit stunted from FaZe. That nano boost probably was not meant for the Lucio. You think they might have been trying to set something up with Romanov. So I think that's going to be something that they're still going to be holding on to. They're really going to have to set up that Reaper ult for kind of the optimal advantage there. But it's one of those ults that kind of really requires a lot of positioning.
It really does, and I mean, they have so many ultimates on the defense that it's going to be so hard for them to actually get value out of it. But phase 1's going to try. They're not just going to stand and spawn for 2 minutes. They're going to go in, and they have that blizzard, and they have a lot of ultimates almost there. So if they played a little bit slow and pull all these ultimates out from Citizens, they could actually do a lot of work here. Cybot goes too deep, already taken out, and that's the first pick you really need. No more worries about the Halt Hook. Now they can really go. Yeah, as the Dragon goes out, and they do get Salt Shaker, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. That is going to probably do it, though. Kel going down, Romanov being felt up as well, and Solieri is frozen, but doesn't really matter if you know, you don't really have anything to kill him with.
Yeah, I'm amazed at the side of Citizens to be able to recover from that, because Cybot being that far out of position,
so well,
not playing with Salieri, that could have very easily been a fight loss, but they just managed to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, get it back together, and Cybot, you know, not showing to be the weakest member of the team, getting back, and you know, I think they're really going to kind of hopefully take that and use it to learn, play perhaps a little bit tighter with your Orisa if you're the Hawk.
And Blue Powerade as well, so free on that Hanzo, just shoots at all these arrows from the side. Nice anti-nade, but the sound barrier will probably negate most of that effect. It's going to be Cybot taking out Vulcan. And we do have the Nano Blossom coming out again, but Romanov getting any value actually gets slept here, so will not be able to get any more value out of the Reaper. And they don't even get extra progress here. Razor falls, Shell Shaker the last one on the point with Cal the support, but they're going to have to go back to spawn and try again, and they really don't have anything to work with anymore.
Yeah, and they still are going to be going up against potential.
There's the switches. There's the switches, though.
Yeah, a lot of switches coming through the McCree, the Hanzo, but we're going to be seeing the Bob come online. We're going to be seeing the Diva Bomb. A lot of stall potential coming out for the side of Citizens. And, I mean, they've certainly already shown it. They have the ability to stabilize very effectively here. So that's going to be something that Citizens, or that phase 1 are going to have to really react to.
Double sniper, Razor and Romanov. I mean, we've seen Romanov do a lot of work on that Widow, so it's definitely got to get some value out of that one. But they're choosing to run this Widow. The Widow's going to stay in the mid. So Romanov is going to try to take that off angle in the mid section. Cybot is a little bit alone in that thing, but they get the first kill on the Nox once again. Romanov does get full power rate though on the side. Let's self-destruct though! Frosted gets 2, and that's not what you wanted to have happen. They were actually in okay position, but that just turns everything around. They shut the door, and that's going to be the first round over. And Citizens, all they have to do is capture 88.7% of point B.
Yeah,
Citizens showing from them. It's actually really, really weird to see.
Yeah, Citizens taking a huge sigh of relief that they did not give up the entire second point. There is an it's not impossible, all right? I don't want to say
definitely
it's
not.
impossible,
No,
but there's an incredibly unlikely chance of even the draw coming through here. I mean, you know, it's hard to anticipate that both teams are going to land at the 88.6%, but even still, phase 1, they are not looking that that perhaps coordinated as much, and they picked this map. That is not going to set a good precedent for this set if they can't even deliver on this one. I think they really have to lock down this first point. They're going to want to shave off as much time as they can from the now attacking Citizens.
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, it's just the first one, the first point. That's where it's all going to happen. They have to just, I think they basically have to just try and get the one. Just the one point hold. Just the first point hold. That's what they need, and they're gonna go for it. Obviously, I mean, once again, it's the same thing as on the attack just now. They're not just gonna stand and spawn and let it happen. They're just gonna try again. I mean, people have been banned from competing in Overwatch League for throwing, quote unquote. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see if Citizens can break the defense. Because it's going to be Razor on that Torbjorn once again, Romanov on the Ashe. But this time they run Vulcan on the Diva, and that's like the first proper 2-2-2 showing of them I think we've seen.
Yeah, Vulcan not going to be running the Reinhardt, meaning that the hooks are going to be able to come through a little bit easier, but if they don't hook Vulcan, the Diva Matrix might be able to save a teammate from potentially getting fragged out by that Roadhog. Cybot going to be taking a little bit of early damage, but I'm sure it's not going to bother the giant, beefy New Zealander that much.
And they're running this complete high ground defense as well. So now it's going to be up to Citizens to decide, how do we want to attack this? How do we want to get in there? And they're going to run it with the Genji, the Widowmaker. I think this is an okay answer, but I don't know if it's going to be if it's going to work for them, because now Citizens is adapting to phase 1.
Yeah, this is a very good kind of turn around or turn of events from phase 1. I'm seeing that Salieri is going to be trying to get up there with this Hammond, try to perhaps get some dispersion going on, and it's going to require a lot of coordination. Frosted definitely going to want to build that EMP as fast as possible to get that, to get that massive disability coming through from the entire enemy team. But really, the entire comp's going to look a little bit discombobulated if they're not able to really focus their attack.
Yeah, they're gonna go in straight away. They get the kill to Romanov. Romanov's get wrecked, and Salieri is actually gonna die. So they're losing their main tank, and that's a lot of point stall. They need something more to put pressure on them. And Salt Shaker just pushes forward, goes straight for Default. Default does get out alive. It's actually gonna be Razor that falls, and that's not the one you want to have fall there, because it's already Salieri back here. Salieri is very quick on those feet, obviously, with that wrecking ball. Not really feet, but the ball. Default gets another one into Romanov. Blue power rate did go down with the Bob that slips, and Default is now actually on fire, showing that he can also hit those shots just like Romanov can, and gets another one onto Nox. Default, it's one of those situations where you just say, it doesn't matter what the rest of my team does, I'll just hit the shots, that's all we need. And Default cleaning up the first point together with Rakatek and Salieri, and it's just going to be the first point gone. 2 minutes on the clock, and they're going to get another 3 off of this one. So very similar time bank that phase 1 had to work with.
Yeah, they're going to be trying to draw out that life from Razor as long as possible, but there's a lot of volts to go up against from the side of phase 1.
Yeah, and with the new rule changes, Razor's already straight back up. Like, as soon as they got the point, he was basically respawned, because that's the new rule change. That's right. Cool. I haven't really seen it affect as much as there. That was like the first one time I really saw it. But Frost has the EMP. He's ready. He's in position. He's on the prowl. I think he's going to drop down pretty soon when the rest of his team is in position. So he's waiting for the go signal. But
waiting for the combo.
He was spot out by Vulcan, so he had thrown out maybe a little bit early. A nice self-destruct to counter it. Vulcan does get the kill onto Blue Powerade, but they got so much more on the side of phase 1. So, side of Citizens. Citizens just gets another one. They get the blade out. No nano to go with it, so he might not get any kills with it. No, he does get knocks in the end. And that's just going to be Citizens cleaning it up. And I don't know. It's looking so good for them on these 2 CP maps that... I don't know. Romanov does get a few kills back, though, so they actually might be able to come back in here and get something else gone, because those kills are so impactful for the defense. And it looks like they might actually be able to hold on here. Romanov just pulling it back there, saying, Default, you can snipe. I have Ash. I can do even better than you. Default will also go down, and they actually hold on.
That was...
Wow.
We're
Romanov.
seeing both teams be so resistant to the snowball. Some incredible recovery coming out from both of these teams. And again, it's putting the side of Citizens in a very good spot. They do have a lot of ticks built up. They are already at that 66%, 2 ticks, meaning that they need less than 1. That's kind of how the math works out there. Frosted already so quick on that EMP, as we mentioned. Going to be setting up for another big push here, it seems.
Oh, Default gets the first kill in the Nox. That's not the one you wanted to have fall. But Frosted goes down. Doesn't get the EMP off, actually. So this is going to be big if they can't get that res off. Blue Powerade goes deep. Maybe wants to go and get Cal. But Cal's able to escape with his life, and Blue Powerade will go as a result. So they will have the Nano. They'll have the EMP Blade. So they have like a good combo for the next one, but they still need to get in there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good push if they decide to use all in tandem from the Citizens. I imagine they might try to be a little bit spread out. They might even try to bait out Nox's Coalescence if they let the fight go on long enough, but that's wishful thinking.
The Razor Brigittes, it's there. It's been talked about in Legends, but it's finally showing up. Romanov is back on the Reaper, but Default is the first to fall. There's the Nanoblade and the EMP. They do go out in tandem. They does get Nox and Razor for it, but I don't know if that's going to be enough with Default already being down, so they need to get some more here. Salt Shaker still alive on the point. Salieri pushes into him. Blue Powerade manages to get that last hit, but Vulcan gets the kill on the Salieri. If that res doesn't come out, which it doesn't look like it will, this actually looks like another pretty good situation for the defense here. So phase 1 showing up big time. Cybot being taken down in the back, and yes, Romanov, you fell, but once again, it's all these picks for the defense coming out that are going to be so good for them, and it looks like once again phase 1's going to hold on.
Yeah, and this is a very similar and familiar spot, just the shoe being on the other foot for Citizens right now. They came so close to capping it to full, but now they're seeing the kind of hold up coming. They're not going to have any ults. They're going to only have about halfway to a nano boost. Meanwhile, they're going to have to go up against Salt Shaker's Bongo. That's going to be providing a lot of damage increase, especially with Razor on this Bastion. It's looking like it could be anybody's game, but it's a little bit more favorable towards the team that has the ult, so you have to think that phase 1 going to be favorable.
Romanov was on the prowl, just takes Blue Powerade out. Just was waiting for that chance to go onto someone, and Blue Powerade just separating himself too far from the team. So it's actually going to be Romanov in a good position to get some more damage done. 40% up to that death loss, not that much, but I mean, it was only a Hanzo, so it's understandable you don't get that much ult charge from it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not going to be seeing too much damage coming through from just one Hanzo kill. It's about 200 life points of, ult charge surrendered, but this might be the last push we're going to be seeing come out of Citizens. This might indeed be the do or die time. Going to be looking to see some big ults come through. If so, Cal having the sound barrier to really kind of mitigate a lot of damage as well. Vulcan once again with the stall and the Diva Bomb. It's going to buy a bit of time, I anticipate.
And Default is very low, but it's going to be Salieri on the flank, trying to go in alone. There's no shield for the rest of the team. But there is the Nano Diva. Just jump straight onto Razor. And he will go down as a result. That's a nice self-destruct, though. We'll zone out a lot more here for Citizens. And they're all so low. And they can't get healed because Rack Attack fell early. And this is just going to look like phase 1 holding on. And what looked like such a good push here for Citizens to start with and good defense, phase 1 just does it better.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate because they were only running that one Lucio for any sort of support, and really that was a pretty crucial kind of decision there that didn't end up necessarily paying off for them. But I mean, man, it was still so close. I don't think Citizens is going to be too unhappy about that, at least in terms of their overall gameplay. You're always going to be a little bit bummed when you don't win the fight, but man, this is going the distance, it feels.
Yeah, and I mean, if this continues, this trend, we might actually be able to see a, the tiebreaker having to come out, because this is the second best of 3 series. Citizens did win the first one 2-1, but now phase one is again up a map, and they could just force us to the tiebreaker with the next map.
Yeah, but the advantage is going to be in favor of Citizens. They will get to pick the next map after a ban from phase one. So we're going to see what phase one perhaps doesn't want to play. We might be seeing the bans come through from their, lesser played maps, Lijiang, or I believe it was Paris last time around. So we're not going.
Yeah.
We're actually going to be seeing the Eichenwald ban again. They really do not like this map.
I mean, it's understandable. I mean, with a lot of these maps, like the long range, it looks like they have some issues with long range potential, right? On the side of phase one, we talked about that before, where the snipers are just, yes, they can play them, but their default composition doesn't necessarily favor longer range fights. So when you go to a map like Eichenwald, where there's a lot of potential for long range, a lot of potential for not a high ground choke defense on first, especially. It's a very different style of map than, for instance, Anubis or Paris, where you have that first raise for the defense to really defend the choke with.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about it a lot. Eichenwald, one of those maps where you can run quite a bit, especially as you go through the different phases. They have so many different kind of structures and styles. It makes it a little bit hard to be consistent there, especially phase one, perhaps not looking to be too swap centric. We've seen them kind of. I would say that compared to Citizens, we've seen them be a little bit more reserved in their hero selection process. They haven't been, too crazy on swapping out, Vulcan, the Reinhardt doesn't seem to be working against the Orisa Hog. Let's switch to something else, or, to something else. It just seems like they try one thing and then, sometimes they squeak it out. Sometimes it doesn't quite work out that way for them. And if you're taking that into consideration, I can see why Eichenwald would probably be on your chopping block of maps to cut out.
Yeah, and we're gonna go to Lijiang again. It's the same story, guys. We've seen it happen the last time around, and we're gonna see it happen again. So yeah, no changes. That way we got, of course, you saw a different first map, but the second map is once again gonna be Lijiang, and we saw Citizens doing very well on that last time around. Are they gonna go for the Torbjorn ban again? That's the main question, because it worked. I mean, at least they won Lijiang last time, but was the Torbjorn ban the factor in that?
Well, it's certainly up for debate here, as Citizens are going to have to make that call. The save will be coming through from the Orisa. I think they're wanting to keep Salt Shaker on their primary play, or on their primary character. I can't say I blame them. Salt Shaker, been doing a pretty good job. We talked about a lot of mitigated damage coming through from this main tank player. So it makes a lot of sense if you have somebody that, you think is, the most kind of reliable character, you want to be keeping that in the roster above all else.
Yeah, and there is the Torbjorn ban once again, so we're gonna be seeing that. We're not gonna see Razor on the Torbjorn on this map, but that's okay. I mean, you don't always need to have the same heroes on every single map. It just gives more variety, so I'm fine with it. But I'm just interested to see if they're gonna change anything from last time around.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're definitely going to have to if you're one, unless you're just absolutely willing to kind of concede the map as was, but in that point you're really relying on whatever next map pick is going to be, which, I mean, who knows? Maybe they're ready, but I think it's just they're still going to be giving it the dickens when it comes to performing their hearts out on this map. I don't think either team's willing to just kind of throw one map away, even if it does set them up in the future maps.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's a little bit of that thing where you're like, what is going to happen this time around? Because we saw this map literally just played out in the exact same fashion. The same heroes, same map, obviously, same team, same players. But we're gonna start on Control Center this time around. And Gardens was the one that phase one won. This was the one that Citizens won, and I don't know. Like, I really don't know what's going to happen this time around, because they're looking to also play different heroes this time around. There's not going to be that Reinhardt. It's actually going to be the Orisa for Salieri, it looks like. So maybe they're trying to throw a curveball towards phase one this time?
Yeah, again, we're seeing the It looked like we were seeing the Reinhardt Orisa, but instead Vulcan going to be swapping on to that Mei. Mei can be very good against an Orisa road. I'm not sure that I necessarily disagree with it. I like the potential to choke down lines of sight, especially if you see the mini grab already going out.
Triple DPS once again, solo tank here for phase 1, and they have the Bastions. There's so much shield break coming out here for them. Nice dynamite from default, but it won't do much besides just a lot of damage. And he will charge up that Bob very quickly, so that might be able to give them a good edge in this upcoming fight. Another good dynamite coming out. It's 80% of rate towards that Bob. That's going to come out really soon, I feel. And right now, Razor's not set up. He's going to do it now with a whole loop comes in once again. Nice combo. And Bob is ready. There he goes. And he's definitely doing something. Already takes out Salt Shaker. Roaming up on a of Flesher. Yes, they already have a sound barrier. And Vulcan takes out Default. They still need to do a lot without that main tank. And they're not able to do much just yet. It's going to be Romanov falling. There's the Blizzard. So many early ultimates. Nano on the Salieri. He'll be able to get out, and they'll get the follow-up. And Rack Attack and Cybot falling. It goes so many ways. Razor trying to throw out the Bastion ultimate will go down. Nox also falling. I think it's going to be Citizens retaking here. But 33% already built up here for the side of phase 1.
Yeah, default on this Doomfist, I can't say I'm against it. I like seeing the shakeup. I don't think we've seen the team come out with the Doomfist quite yet on any map this series, so I'm definitely gonna be watching out for that massive one-shot potential. However, Razor on the Sombra is a good answer. You disable that Doomfist's abilities, it puts him in a really tough spot. However, Roadhog, not a bad anti-flanker if you're looking to keep Sombra on their toes. You're gonna have to be seeing how it pops off.
You can hack him, but you need to find him first, and Default just drops down from above. They didn't see that one coming. Nux almost goes down. It's actually going to be Cal falling first, but Nux still very low, so not a lot of healing left here for the side of phase 1, and Blue Power Ray just takes down 2. Headshot and a Dragon kill. That's exactly what you want to see from your Hanzo. He's been showing up on that Hanzo as well, on Anubis.
Yeah, he really has. The Hanzo is just looking really good right now, looking like a class act coming through from Blue Power Ray. I really like it, and I think it's smart to keep him on it, at least for now. You don't break, or you don't fix what's already not broken, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that was the attitude from phase 1 before this match started, but it definitely seemed like something has been broke about their composition, and Cal taking down my Blue Power Raid, he's really just not giving them any leeway. If you peek, you're gonna have arrows thrown at you, and a lot of them will apparently hit, so Blue Power Raid throwing a lot of wrenches in their wheels here.
Yeah, what I'm noticing is that Salt Shaker gonna be taking a lot of angles here that aren't necessarily being followed up on it. It looks like they're kind of onesie-twosing it, but also Salt Shaker throws down a shield and then Vulcan immediately ice walls up. That's a lot of abilities just invested to one area. Big Diva Ball.
The wall blocks it off though, and the sound barrier also gets a little bit sustained, but that halts self-destruct combo also gave it. There's the Nano Blossom versus the Nano Doomfist, and is the Nano Doomfist gonna get anything because the Nano Blossom already got one and a follow-up with Salieri as well. Doomfist not gonna get any follow-up there. It's gonna be Blue Power Red falling. Razor is the one to go down inside of phase 1, but it's the only one. They needed to win that fight though, because they're already on 99% here for Citizens.
Yeah, you're not exactly uncomfortable to lose that fight if you're on the side of Citizens, because they know they just have to take it one more time. Default going to be pretty good at opening up some kills with the Doomfist, but be switching off perhaps onto the Ashe. It's seeming like they're kind of contemplating the choices here. But again, if this Roadhog Orisa can get the picks or get the hooks set up properly, that's going to be a great opening, as we've seen the team kind of totally capitalize upon.
A nice EMP immediately coming out, but they don't really get the follow-up just yet. As I say that, of course, Cybot goes down to an anti-nade combo, and Default also falling to Vulcan. So Citizen's gonna have to go and try again. But they have some ultimates building up a little bit, and they have a little bit of leeway. They can take a slow fight, build up 1 or 2 more ultimates, and just take it over.
Yeah, there's going to be about 3 ultimates coming online for the side of Citizens. A lot were invested from phase 1. Razor not going to be having that EMP, meaning the push might not be too much hampered, but the hack's going to be coming through a little bit of pestilence. Razor going to get forced out, though.
Razor getting forced out. Doesn't even have the EMP just yet anyways, but that's a nice hold. Doesn't get anything because of all the anti-CC abilities. Vulcan does fall, though. That's a good pick to go out with, because Vulcan was getting closer to that Blizzard. Blue Power Raid, meanwhile, so much extra damage, is able to shoot everything in his sight. But Romanov goes to the back, gets the pick on the Default with that Death Blossom. will not go down as a result, but it's actually going to be, yeah, finally Romanov falling, Nox also down. Citizens in a great position, and they still have that dragon in order to zone out anyone touching. Citizens taking point 1. Just like last time. I mean, I've said it before. We're just repeating the same story. And if the same story is going to be repeated, Citizens should be winning this map again. But it will largely depend on which point we get next, because Gardens really didn't look that well for them, and it's going to be Night Market. Oh, that's not what Phase 1 wanted, I think.
Yeah, Citizen's going to be kind of repeating history, just with a little different of a cast of characters. We definitely did not see the Doomfist the first time around. In fact, we saw a much more... I'd say traditional triple tank comp coming out of them, the Reinhardt Diva style goats comp. And, you know, they looked good on it then. And I think that even what they've switched to now, they're still looking good on. They're obviously in the favorable spot here, and this will tie up the second set if memory serves.
Yeah, the second set, I mean, Phase 1, if they win it, then they're done. But Citizens needs to win another map after this one, so it's not over just yet. Gonna be seeing Phase 1 take early position on the point here, which is very different than what we saw last time. Vulcan on that Reinhardt, and a nice wall block from Razor, just saving that follow-up from the hook. Yeah, there gotta be a little bit of pressure from default here, but Blue Power Rate already going down is a good thing, because he has been doing way too much damage for Citizens. And Phase 1 takes first point control in a pretty relaxed fashion, I think you could say.
Yeah, I think Romanov definitely kind of remembering what score has been between them and Blue Powerade as of lately. And really, I like the style of play coming through here from Phase 1. The Mei being able to really kind of keep heads up on those walls, prevent the hooks from coming through. It's really nice. And again, I talked about it the first time around, the tanking capabilities from Phase 1 are going to be able to hold the point for quite a while.
And Phase 1 really looking like a team that just said, okay guys, playtime is over. We're not going to play together. We're going to do this as a team, which is very different from their normal playstyle. And they're adapting to that really well, already showing to really work together with those tanks and that Reaper a lot different than they did before. The Halt Hooks not getting the value anymore that they used to, and it's actually going to be Citizens pushback once again. Phase 1, they're looking different. I don't know what it is, but they're looking different.
Yeah, they are, and right now it just seems like they're playing these choke points at the front, at the courtyard side, a lot better. They're not letting the Roadhog get as many right clicks, and they're not letting the Roadhog get as much shield break or as much wall break. And even when they do, they have those rotational abilities to really keep choking off only those two entrances. And of course, if the side of Citizen starts to rotate, they'll see it coming from a mile away once they're committed this hard.
Citizen's gonna walk in now. They do have the Bob to work with and the Dragon. They have quite a few things, but they still need to get the value. And Vulcan just walks forward, gets the Nano down, gets the Shatter down, and Romanov comes in with a Death Blossom. They do lose Salt Shaker to the Dragon and Vulcan to the whole Hog here, but the numbers are relatively even and actually in favor here for Citizens now. So it's gonna be Citizens probably taking over this point, but 99% is gonna be all but approached here for Phase 1. So one fight and they'll take the stage.
Yeah, and I mean, Frosted going to be trying to regroup as fast as possible. The pause is going to be called in from Salieri, the main tank for the side of Citizens, perhaps having a little bit of connection issue or calling it on behalf of one of their teammates. But man, thank goodness for this pause, because I just need to take a moment to breathe right now, Mana Class. This is getting heavy.
Take a moment to breathe, take a moment to process. You know, it's already been quite a taxing match so far for everyone, I feel. I mean, it's not just like you're just running into it and doing anything. So, you know what, I would definitely advise anyone watching who is just as sweaty as we are right now and as sweaty as the players, you know, just go get some water. A little bit. There is a pause right now. Go get some water. Go get some other thing. Get yourself hydrated. Don't drink alcohol. I mean, I'm not saying I'm against drinking alcohol, but if you want to hydrate, drink water. So just plenty of fluids. You reduce your hangover with that. So that's another one.
Yeah. So what Mana Class is saying is, if you're going to drink alcohol, also drink. I think that's the summary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't mix the two though, because you don't want to water down your whiskey or something like that. That's not what you want to do. But yeah, have a glass of water next to it. That's how you prevent a bad morning.
As we are about to be getting back off of our little water break here, it looks like the teams are about to be ready. We're about to hop right back into it. And with this being said, we now have Citizens having to do a pretty hefty hold here if they want to maintain control and eventually come out with the win on this Lijiang submap.
Yeah, and they have to get back in here, obviously, and there's not that much to work with for Citizens. The only thing they really have is the self-destruct, which has been working out for Frosted, but they're going to have to throw it in at the right time in order to get some value, because it's going to be the Blizzard here from Razor. Soulshaker falls early, though, but that's a nice Blizzard. They get the kill on the Cybot as a result. There's a good anti-nade coming in from the other side, though, but Solieri also falling. This fight is, once again, very chaotic, very almost even, but it looks like it might be Citizens just edging out a little bit with all the damage coming out from Blue Power Rate and defaults.
Yeah, and I mean, we're even seeing the swap come out from Cybot onto the Hammond and Saltshaker onto the Hammond. They're really trying to get a little bit rushed with it. Maybe that's not the attitude you want to take. You know that the Orisa is perhaps one of your stronger characters, and, you know, you just need to flip it once. You don't need to flip it multiple times. So you stay comfortable. You kind of let the ults burn out, but that might not be the case here because of those swaps.
Yeah, they're just gonna go back in here. They do have the Dragon and the Bob on the defense now, but the attackers have a little bit more to work with, close to that sound barrier, most importantly, and that's gonna be a big one. And the shatters from Falcon have been pretty good as well. Oh, and it's good again with Romanov following up with the Death Blossom as well. They get the kill to Blue Powers. It's a lot of damage gone here for the side of Citizens, but they get the counter kill. They get Romanov. The Bob is also out, so now Phase 1 needs to find another way in, and this is the last fight. If this goes into favor of Citizens, we're going to go to the third map in this best of 3, and it looks like that might be what's happening here, because they keep getting the kills. Blue Power Rate is still on fire, so is Default. And Li Zhang once again going in favor of Citizens here.
Yeah,
I think it's not over just yet, but
they've got to clean up. They've got to clean up. It's not going to quite be the touch, and Citizens going to actually take it, having won both maps. And we're at 1-1. This could decide it whether we go into overtime or whether it's going to go in favor of the Citizens here.
Yeah, Citizens. I mean, they're showing up, and like after all these maps that we've seen so far, I really don't know. It feels like because Phase 1 we talked about before. Phase 1 just really started off very strong, and then Citizens just they tried to play Phase 1's game and just kept losing that, and then they adapted, and now they're playing their own thing with Blue Power Rate on this amazing Hanzo really showing up. Solieri and Cybot on this Hog Orisa combo that's been working out for them. They've made some adaptations. And they're sort of forcing Phase 1 in this weird limbo where Phase 1's like, yeah, what we're doing is sort of working still, but they sort of, what they're doing is also working. So do we switch, or do we try to still make them switch? It's a really weird one, but it looks like Citizens actually is really recovered well.
Yeah, I like to think that it's when we go back to kind of the topics we've talked about during this entire cast, that catching, you know, an enemy off balance just slightly. Because if you know, I think that's exactly what Citizens have been doing. You know, they've been getting a fight or two, or they've been picking things that Phase 1 might not be so comfortable with, and because of that, Phase 1 doesn't maybe have as much flexibility, or they don't have the workability to kind of, you know, bounce back and get right into it. And it's definitely kind of showed. Phase 1, definitely one of those teams that was looking very strong coming out up until this point. I mean, I'm very pleasantly surprised with how close this game is looking right now.
Yeah, and now we're going to go back to Hollywood. And if there's one map that has not at all looked close, that was Hollywood. So it's, of course, a very understandable choice from Phase 1. I mean, am I a little bit disappointed we're not going to see a little bit more map variety? Sure. But once again, if Phase 1 manages to win this map, we're going to have to go to the tiebreaker. So we actually will have gone the entire distance in this Grand Finals. And if there's one thing about Grand Finals I love, is when they go the distance. So I don't really mind. Like, either way, whatever happens, I'm going to be happy about it. But the main thing we're going to have to look out for is this momentum shift that Citizens has created for themselves going to be enough to also say, okay, so now Hollywood is like something we can test Phase 1 a little bit more on, because this was really a map where they struggled, even though, you know, it was quite a while ago. It could still come back to haunt them.
Yeah, and I mean, to even put it even more in Phase 1's favor, we talk about those hero bans that are going to be coming through. It looks like they're going to be taking out Hanzo.
And Hanzo.
With a
and
vengeance.
Of course, Blue Power Rate finds it very amusing, which I can understand. I mean, it's definitely it's been doing a lot of damage here. So I'm not at all surprised they're doing it, but yeah, it's just, what are they gonna do? Are they actually banning? No, because they're banning the Hanzo because they obviously have to ban. Citizen is trying to ban the Reaper, but they don't have any rights to ban anyone, so they can't do that. But yeah, so Hanzo is going to be banned out here, and we're going to obviously go to Hollywood. So I'm, I don't know. I don't know. I think obviously we got to sort of give the favor to Phase 1, but Citizen's been doing so well that I really don't know. Taking out that Hanzo, though, might be a very good start.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to help them feel a little bit more comfortable here. We saw Powerade be so strong, getting some very crucial picks, just kind of really pulling the teeth, especially from that Reaper, a couple of times from those other soft squishy characters like the Lucio, even just disabling the turret when Razor was playing that Torbjorn to a very common degree. Haven't been seeing it so much. It seems like they're trying to buckle down just a little bit, maybe trying to counter the counter that we heard a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and I mean they do need to find a way to obviously keep their momentum going on either side, because yes, Phase 1 has been a little bit more pressure, but they still had got a lot of good momentum from their own side as well. And I really, once again, I don't really have any preference of who wins this map in honesty, but it's one of those things where it's very cool if you go the full distance. And we go to Busan, which is a very different map from everything we've seen tonight. It's going to be a very interesting finish to this whole series.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows how much the teams would have prepared for Busan? So it might just be one of those raw battles where, you know, at the very beginning, it looked like Phase 1 was a little bit more favorable in the raw battles. But I mean, you know, it's one of those things where it's still anybody's game. One thing I anticipate here, though, is that Citizens might have a tougher time with this bunker position and the Hog Orisa combo that they've been running. It's a lot harder to get hooks here when that giant shield's pretty much covering everything in the cafe.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just they're standing up there. So it's going to be Citizens on the defense first. And they're running this Bastion this time around. Blue power rate on that one. Bastion didn't really work out that well for them last time on the side of Citizens. But, you know, it's a new day. They're looking very different. A lot of damage coming out from Romanov, though, on that Ashe. He's been looking so good on that. But Salt Shaker first of all. Looks like the first defense is going to be relatively successful. That being said, though, they can just keep going a little bit with that res coming out.
Yeah, it's going to be very careful having Salier getting brought dangerously low.
So low.
They're going to drop back just a
bit. The shield up in time. Romanov did fall in the meantime, so Cybot is once again on fire here on that Roadhog. There's not so much with those hooks and that zoning. There's already the Amplification Matrix, but I don't know who they're really shooting at this point. I think they got out, so Amplification Matrix not getting that much done right now.
Yeah, they're going to have to be very careful. Vulcan having that rocket barrage, if they drop right in front of the cafe, just in front of the Orisa shield, going to be able to put a lot of damage forward. That's not something you want to be, even if you do have that immortality field, which they're going to invest right now.
Yeah, immortality field's already gone, so now the Bob is going to come out just on the point, so they're going to start getting percentage without actually being on it, because it's just Bob there, and Vulcan is going for that positioning, tries to find the barrage, gets rack attack, gets full power rate, gets default. Vulcan taking everything and more even. Bo loses life, and it doesn't really matter if Nox even gets the melee kill onto Salieri to boot. Phase 1 showing up good on Hollywood, as we sort of expected, but it took them maybe a little bit longer to take the first point, but they took it, and that's all they really needed. Last time they only needed... Last time that's literally all they actually needed, though. Blue power rate is on the Widow, though. We haven't seen blue power rate on the hit scan so far. It's only been default, but now they're at the double hit scan. Default closing on that bot, probably why they stay on that.
Yeah,
this could be cool.
Yeah, you got to be thinking. So again, we talked about it the first time around, except it was working. Omanov, that Widow on the high ground, when you have to kind of focus cart a little bit, can be very crucial. Vulcan getting pulled out going to be mitigating a lot, or reducing the mitigation of a lot of damage.
On a power raid versus Romanov, this Widow 1v1 on the high ground. Meanwhile, there's a lot happening on the ground as well. Molten Core coming out from Razor, and Romanov wins the 1v1. Rack attack goes down to the Molten Core. So this looks like it's going to be a continued push from Phase 1, but Cybot wants to delay it for about half a second.
Yeah, not going to quite be enough. You might think as we get rolling here. Still just under 4 minutes getting forth as we get towards the back end of Streets phase. And it looks like there will be enough time for the defending team of Citizens to contest, but it's going to be a little bit tough. They're not going to necessarily be feeling like the most comfortable spots. This might be a little bit of an uncharted
they
territory.
touched just in time, but it's going to be Romanov with so much more space to work with because Blue Powerade just has to be in that corner, in that doorway. Cybot, though, and Frosted, they push everything out, all the ultimates they have, and they push them back. The only thing they'll have left is a self-destruct, but they're holding on to point B, and that's really going to be worth it, I feel.
Yeah, they're going to have to play a little bit onto the cart, make sure that no shenanigans happen where they get a little clever back cap from the side of phase 1. Doesn't seem like it will be with the comp they're running, however. But a few ults still on the board. We're going to be seeing Salt Shaker and Romanov. Romanov having those sights, Salt Shaker having the Battle Bongo. But Frosted's Diva Bomb could still buy a bit of time. You know, time can be the name of the game, especially if it comes down to both teams completing the map.
Yeah, I see Blue Powerade really giving a lot of respect here to Romanov, especially when Romanov has that shield in front of him. But yeah, obviously also with the emphasize being very close for Blue Powerade as well, we could see that relation coming where they both throw it out. Nice self-destruct, will not get any kills. As I say that though, Cal was not in the immortality field, so we'll actually go down. Soul Shaker's Bongo's also out, and there's another halt hook. Romanov gets the pick onto Blue Powerade, but I don't think that's going to be enough here. Although, that being said, they're still sort of around, and they have some healing to work with, and a shield. So, Cybot, definitely not going to be able to do enough there, and it looks like they might be able to push this one in. It's only Rack Attack on the point, but there's Bob, there's Salieri. They're actually coming back in here because they have such close respawns. Rack Attack and Default, both, you know, they're Bob and the Ana being taken out. Default falling as well. Salieri on the point together with Frosted, and Blue Powerade has taken down Romanov. This is a very scrappy fight to maybe get it finally into B, but with that molten core, that looks like it's going to put the nail in the coffin. It was a molten nail, a very hot one, but they got it in, and that's all they needed.
Yeah, that's all it's about right now, and they're still going to have a couple of ults to keep rolling with. They're going to have the amplification field, they're going to have the nano boost, a lot of damage increase coming through here with the Battle Bongo on top of that, and not a lot of ults coming through from the side of Citizens. They gave up a lot of them for some of these switches, the Hammond, the Tracer coming through from Default, not going to be having the Ash Bob up at a very quick pace. Blue Powerade on this May, though, perhaps they're trying to build up.
Once another halt hook Vulcan just being pulled back but not finished off because that Diva Matrix is so good, guys. Yes, the range has been nerfed, but if you're in their faces, doesn't really matter. Nox throws out the Amplification Matrix, will not get much, but they at least zone them back a lot here. A halt for themselves, they don't have the hook, but Frosted will be demeched. And Default also taken out. A good start here for phase 1. And they're just going to be pushing through. Nice self-destruct with the hulls. A triple kill for Vulcan. Vulcan, another multi-kill after that barrage. And now it's just going to be the cleanup. Round 1 complete. And phase 1, once again, showing up very well on Hollywood here, guys.
Yeah, they're going to be getting all the way through third point. Not quite as favorable a time as you might have expected or as we saw on Paris. But they're still going to have about 2 minutes left on the clock, and that certainly sets a high bar for the side of Citizens. They have to get through this map expeditiously if they want to make it, you know, with a comparable pace. Of course, if they don't even get within that 1 minute, or if they don't even get within that overtime, if they get it even within overtime, it's still not going to be enough to get them the win here. So it's really going to come down to the wire. You're going to be seeing what the teams are forming up as the countdown timer ticks down.
Yeah, look, if we're gonna go for predictions, we know phase 1's good on this map, right? Like they've shown it before.
Certainly.
And last time Citizens, yes, they capped point A, but they didn't really get much further than the gate. And the gate is sort of like this auto thing where you always get to, and then after that, that's where the real attack on point B, or like phase B starts, the streets phase, and they couldn't get past it. So they have to now not only get past that gate, but they have to get past the next gate and then to the end of the map with time left. So it's a lot of extra factors compared to the last attack they had. And yes, they have been showing up a lot, but they have to really have adapted enough throughout the entire series to really turn that last result around.
Yeah, I mean, they're really going to have to work at it. They have to put in some time. And I mean, we'll see. It's not. We always say it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Definitely
but
not. It's
it
Overwatch.
It is going to have to be kind of something that they need to really tighten down on. This position might not be the worst to get a halt hook combo, so maybe Cybot and Salieri are going to be able to work. They can.
Not, and they are. Romanov already down. They do have the Mercy, but you can't really rest someone when they're basically killed within the enemy team. And they are doing the counter halts a lot. They're doing a lot of damage with those. Saltshaker showing up, and it's already burning because of that dynamite. Salieri taking the more dominant shield positioning right now. And it's going to be Saltshaker having to push back. He just has to walk away and be safer. And it's going to be Frosted throwing all the damage in from the stairs. Blue Power Rage showing up on these hit scan heroes. Bang, the Hanzo is not enough against this guy.
Yeah, you can. Blue Power Rage saying, all right, I'll go something a little bit different if you... A good pull from Cybot onto Nox. That's exactly what you need just to help assure this fight.
Romanov is still on the point, still does a lot of damage, actually up to 60% to that ultimate already, so that's a lot of damage done. Obviously had switched off the Ashe. And they're going to have something to work with on the defense, though. They do only attack as well, but it's a little bit of a different story than we saw coming out last time.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit more comfortable. I mean, it felt like, you know, 1.5 pushes from the Citizens.
Romanov's ready again. We saw what happened last time, guys. He got a four or five kills in like a span of 4 seconds. So you got to be ready for that Widowmaker. And he's already taken the shots. There's a high noon for Blue Power. It actually takes down Razor, who had the Molten Core ready. But Romanov trades it out. We'll take the counter kill. No mercy on their side. And Nox and Romanov just combining for everything here. Yes, Frosted goes out to deal with Romanov, but it's not enough if the rest of your team is already dead. We'll lose the mech late, and that's going to be a brutal stagger on this Diva. Not that brutal, actually. The turret. The turret, you can't stop the turret from firing. Yeah.
That's true.
That's the one downside of playing Torbjorn, guys. Your turret will not stagger the Diva for you.
But
if there's ever one downside, that's the one.
We're looking to see Citizens start to build up some ults, so they're going to have the Diva Bomb as well as Amplification Bongo up here soon. The pull's not going to be coming through, but it looks like the Amplification Bongo will.
Multicore comes out. A little bit was eaten, I believe, by the Matrix, but there is a nice self-destruct. Bub is already off the field. Salieri's... Yeah, so Salieri's ultimate also gone. Blue Power Rate wins the duel against Romanov here. So we're going to definitely see some more potential coming out for the attackers. And that's Frosted and Cybot combining for everything to just clean it all up. Wreck Attack into the Constellation, 1v1 kill on Razor falling late. But they're going to have another defense attempt here, that's for sure. But it's looking good for Citizens. A lot better than their first time on Hollywood.
Yeah, I think it was very crucial that Blue Power Rate won that first Widow 1v1 versus Romanov. Romanov, I believe, even had Infra Sights up, losing them, of course, with the Widow play as soon as the death goes through with the new patches that have happened probably about within the last month or so. But really, it's going to be, once again, one contest coming through from the side of Phase 1. They need to restabilize here. And a good hook
nice
coming
halt
through.
Hook. They have now switched over to Rotok of their own, saying, you know what? It worked so well for them. We can do that too. And it turns out they can. Yes, Blue Power Rate wins another duel against Romanov, but it doesn't really matter if the rest of Romanov's team is also on you. So Vulcan will lose, and Frosted will both lose the mech late. And this time they don't have a Torbjorn, so the Diva Stagger can actually come out. But they do choose to kill her a little bit quicker than you maybe would have thought they would.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be Vulcan out of mech as well, so it's gonna be one of those things where they're gonna be trying to build up that ult charge as quick as possible. Definitely something keeping an eye out for. Yeah,
it will be there back in time. It's a very easy ultimate to charge, getting your remech, but you know, it's still something you got to do. Blue Power Rate is with the Infra Sight on the high ground. Romanov doesn't have one to counter just yet. So Blue Power Rate going to take some shots, but misses both of them on Cal. And gets got taken out by a halt hook combo because of Saltshaker. I think it might have even been a halt hook combo. I think it was just a hook.
May have just been the hook. But Cybot taking down Razor. That is a lot of ult charge. And we'll see if it's enough, but it's going to be questionable here.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously losing. They don't have their Widow right now, so Romanov is going to go up to high ground, just contesting Blue Power Rate coming back from spawn. And meanwhile, the fight's just continuing. Cybot nanoed after he hooked Saltshaker, but didn't actually get the follow-up. Nice self-destruct. Cybot will obviously not go down to that because he's way too tanky for that. But Rack Attack, Blue Power Rate, and Salieri already down. This is looking so good for Phase 1 right now. And Citizens, they've been halted. They've truly been halted right now.
Yeah, Citizens, they made it a little bit farther, but perhaps not far enough. They've kind of overcome the Widow issue, but now they have to worry about the match game issue. Razor and Salt Shaker still looking very comfortable. As we mentioned, Salt Shaker, a good Orisa, meaning that a good Ori Hog combo is definitely in the works.
Yeah, they've truly been halt, and you know, like that's what I was going for the little bit of the pun. I'm sorry about that one, but hey, we're gonna have a lot of ultimates coming out for Citizens here pretty soon, so it looks like they might have a good advantage coming into this fight, but they still need to get close enough to get some value out of them. Salieri throws down the supercharger, so here's the start. Nice self-destruct, will take down Vulcan and Nox. That's 2 huge picks. Blue Powerade will lose the duel to Romanov, but is already being taken care of by Frosted. It's just going to be Razor on the card. Yes, he took down Cybot, but you need to get a little bit more if you want to take this one back into your favor. Looks like they might be able to recontest, but I think the card might be close enough and they at least won't be able to do it with 6.
Yeah, it's going to be a questionable recontest, because if they do, there will be some people still coming back from spawn should it get touched. Looks like the touch will be coming in, but the Sombra now coming in. Power rate is interesting.
Vulcan just being deleted there out of the mech, but they are back now with enough members. The Nano Diva goes in, but Salieri falls. Nice NTNA coming out though, so that could just turn everything back with that whole hog. Razor being taken out, and Cybot falls. I think it's just Blue Power and Rack Attack with that turret still being there. That's just a member's advantage for the defense, and that's going to be the map pretty soon because it's only 3 meters. But they don't have any time on the point. Yes, Salieri will make it on the Wrecking Ball. Bob is on the cart, but they don't have the numbers. They don't have the damage. I don't think Default and Salieri will be able to answer this on their own, and looks like it's going to be the hold for phase 1 here, especially with that self-destruct just deleting the Frosted mech straight away. Rack Attack's left, Frosted taken out, and the contests keep coming in, but you got to get some kills, guys. Default's doing a good job of that. Like, Default's been actually getting some kills here. But it's not just not going to be enough when phase 1 has so many members online and just wins the map. So that looks like it's going to be another best of 3 done, and it means we're 1-1.
Yeah, we are taking it all down to Busan. That's gonna be the decider here, and really, man, that was still a good turnaround from Citizens. I think they're showing a lot of growth. You know, we look at this compared to their first point. Yeah, it was only, you know, about 75% of street space, but they still showed themselves to be able to handle it fairly well. So I think that, you know, it's definitely going to be an exciting final fight moving forward.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm pretty excited to see what's gonna happen. Apparently, gonna play 1 round of Busan, just literally 1 round, not 1 map, guys. It's a 1 round of Busan to decide everything. Everything's gonna be on the line. 1 round of Busan, so it's just gonna be 1 stage. It doesn't mean so you don't have to win 2. You have to win 1. Just make it very clear here. 1.
This is interesting, because if they go downtown, I think the hit scan characters we might see can really start to shake things up a little bit. But I don't really know about what we can expect for the rest of the sub maps here. I mean, I'm just very curious to see what's going to be the shakeout.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to see any bans or saves, so it's going to be the full lineup available to both teams. This is it. This is like for all the marbles. I mean, if you win this, you're just going to win the entire tournament. 1 round of Busan is going to decide it all, and I'm excited for this. It's a bit of an unconventional format, obviously, but that doesn't mean it can't be fun, guys. Because it's Overwatch. So everything is fun.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're here, we're doing this, and you know, what better way to end kind of all of this chaos and, you know, madness that has been going on between the Citizens and phase 1 than just 1 match, winner take all on Busan. And
yeah. And I mean, you could argue, but the thing is, like, you can argue that, oh yeah, you know, if you get that 1 lucky stage, that you otherwise would be the only one of the 3 you would have won. But then, I don't know. I feel like in general, the team that would have won still wins, even with this system. So for now, it's just we can go to bed earlier. That's what we're playing for right now. Like, honestly, that's how I feel it just goes, and that's fine. You know, guys, I'm in Europe. For me, it's already past 5 a.m. So you know what? Bear with me here. No, I'm looking forward to this one. Like, it's going to be a close one, obviously, but it's Busan, and there's so many weird or like odd points on Busan that it's really going to come down to which point do they get, and then do they have a strat for that, and how's that gonna play out? Like, I really don't know. I really don't even know which point I would give to which team, or like which I wanted to go to, or which would be the. I think, personally, I think I would have the most fun watching Mecha Base right now, but then again, I also haven't seen the one I kind of want least is Downtown, because Downtown, I feel I've seen Downtown so many times now, and it's always sort of the same thing. But for both for Sanctuary and for Mecha Base, there's just a little bit of a more of a unknown factor, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it just a second ago. If you go Downtown, I have a strong feeling that we're going to see Romanov on some long-range hit scan. And, you know, I think we'll see some very solid play coming out of that player. But it is the question mark of, you know, Mecha Base or Sanctuary that kind of leaves things, you know, in a state of fluidity. I think that if we go to Sanctuary, maybe the Torb's going to be a little bit more friendly. Going to be hopping in here. It's going to be...
Mecha Base...
It is Mecha Base.
I love it. I'm really looking forward to seeing what these teams do on these maps. I feel Maze and Torbjorns are definitely there to play with, but doesn't mean that they're just going to necessarily get the value that you want them to, because that's obviously, you know, what happens. I think everyone's already calling for the reroll, but yeah, let's see what happens here. One map, guys. This is all. The winner takes all. This is the one. Mecha Base. This is one where you go for.
Yeah.
You know what? I as much as I want to know what the outcome from this match is, the one thing I want more is for one of these 4 doors to open, and like like with Diva's room is already open. I want to know who these other 4 people are. I want to see those mechs. I want to see those. And which color would you prefer to open first? Like, because we have like blue, purple-ish. You have green, yellow, and red.
I gotta go with. I'm a fan of the green. The green is kind of my favorite.
Yeah. It's also my favorite. I agree. Green is really a nice color to me, but yeah, we don't have that many properly green heroes in the game, do we? I mean, we have skins, obviously, but...
we got Lucio, Genji...
Lucio, Orisa, Genji... I actually have quite a few.
Yeah. All right, the teams are getting hyped. We're seeing... I'm surprised we're seeing the non-Torbjorn comp coming out from Phase 1. They might want to be sticking it...
Well...
to the Citizen style comp.
I sort of get it. I mean, they did very well with the Hulk hook combo there on the last defense of Hollywood, so they might just say, like, you know what? Let's just run the Hulk hook. We might be able to run it better than them. Romanov is on the Hanzo this time around, just as Blue Power Rate is once again so much damage coming out straight away onto Phase 1. That's actually huge. Default just being able to get that done as well. And neither of the teams really going to point. Frost is the only one there, so he's going to be able to really contest it for a little bit until the rest of the team goes in. Blue Power Rate gets the first kill on a Cal, and Default falls up on Razor. It looks like it's going to be Citizens taking up the first control, but they haven't won it just yet because Salieri goes down, and that main tank might be very impactful. As I say that though, Saltchaker and Ox falling, that's going to be the first control, definitely going over to Citizens right now.
Yeah, Salieri going to be having to take kind of the solo walk back, but for the price of the capped point, I don't think they'll be minding too much. Citizens now in a very favorable position, having the Dragons as well as having the Nano. No ults online quite yet for Phase 1, but you got to expect Cal's going to be having that amplification soon.
Yeah, they're close enough, and Nox will almost have that Transcendence as well, which is a huge deal. I mean, that Transcendence can just negate almost everything that Citizens wants to do in a fight. So that is a very smart choice, as well as the Discord Orb, obviously. So let's see what value they get out of that. There's the Amplification Matrix. But this should be a lot of damage coming out. Romanov immediately getting Salieri out after the Matrix falls. Vulcan drops on the Cybot, but there's the Dragons. They go straight in. Actually, Cybot does so much damage, has to use all the healing, and it doesn't even survive it. Such a good attack here coming out from Phase 1. They do grab it back at 37% for Citizens. Yes, it's good, but it's not winning the map just yet. So they got to come back in.
Yeah, and Cybot also receiving the Nano from Rack as, you know, they fall. That is a tough spot. You don't want to be there. You want to keep that nano perhaps for the next fight, especially if it doesn't look like it's going in your favor, but still a lot of ults online for the Citizens.
Self-destruct from Vulcan will get 2. Blue Power to fall immediately down. That's the fight already over. Cybele and Solier falling as well. And they didn't have that many ults to work with on the defense, but it doesn't really matter if you get the kills with them and just can build up the rest as a result. So Razor and Nox still have their ultimates. That's the big one, Nox. If Nox can negate things like the Bob and the self-destruct, like if it can negate like half of the ultimates if they throw them out in tandem, that's huge.
Yeah, it's gonna be very worth. Interesting that they use the Immort field and the Transcendence.
They needed to because the Anti-Nade came out, so the Transcendence really didn't do that much, but they do heal up after the Immortality field falls. So a lot of already negated. No more Dragons, no more Bob, no more Self-Destruct. Razor does fall though to Cybot, so there is a little bit of an edge here for the side of Citizens, but they really need to start getting some more kills if they really want to turn this fight. Cybot also falls, but then once again a nice Anti-Nade, but the Anti-Nade doesn't do much if they're all in the Immortality field. So yes, nice support picks here for the side of phase 1. Blue Pirate, though, trying to get this one back, but it's not going to be enough with just the Hanzo. And they're going to have to try again on Citizens. And with 84% last fight territory, they really need to win this one. Otherwise, this entire tournament will go to phase 1.
Yeah, Citizen's going to be bringing out the Mei, perhaps thinking that the Ashe not the appropriate choice here. And really, this is going to be it. They need to get onto point soon. 3%. Somebody needs to make the touch.
Frost there. Frost had made it in time. He was already on the high ground, but Cybot first to fall. Salieri will take out the Immortality field already. There's Romanov with a Dragon kill. Default going down. It looks like phase 1 is going to take it home. They were under a lot of pressure, but they finally are able to do it. That's going to be Power Rate the last to fall. And the tournament, the series, the map, everything going into the favor here of phase 1.
Yeah, phase 1 gonna be coming out as the winners. It was a very good match. Both teams gonna be giving each other some serious congratulations here. Everybody's kind of saying that, you know, it was definitely one of those well-fought games, it seems. And man, that one really went the distance. Just phase 1 just ended up pulling that out just at the very end.
Yeah, it just happens. I know coming into this series, there is definitely something that you were sort of expecting, like both with the last result, the result that they had only 2 days ago, as well as, you know, in general for like how the entire tournament went. You were sort of expecting maybe phase 1 to win, but I don't know. Like it was so much closer than I think a lot of people might have expected, including myself. That I'm really impressed with how Citizens performed. But in the end, they couldn't quite take it home. They already won the last brawl though, so they didn't really need to win this one. But yeah, it basically done, and I'm very happy with the series that we just saw.
Yeah, very much so. And don't forget, folks, while we have a few minutes as we get the rest of phase 1 here into the chat, don't forget to vote for your MVP down in the Twitch chat below. Show everybody in the team some love. Gotta be making sure that they know who you guys think is popping off this round.
Yeah, that's definitely it. You throw your MVP votes to the right people, but to hear a little bit more of some of the people you could be voting for, we have, I think, the entire team of phase 1 in the voice chat, so that's going to be a little bit chaotic. Let's see what we get done here. Who wants to start? Congratulations, guys. First off.
Thank you.
Holy shit.
Let's go. All right, we're looking for a Dollar Shave Club sponsorship, if you're listening.
Okay.
So what we're going to do with this money? Are we going to like put it forward to that?
I'm buying Wizard 101.
Oh, yeah. Wait, our broom's going to run out, Saul. We got to go, bro. We got an hour left. We
have an hour left on our broom.
We gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even have to do an interview again, Waltham, because apparently they already they have enough to talk about. But
I respect that wizard grind. I gotta be honest.
Yeah,
bubble 8.
100%.
I do wanna say GG's to Citizens. Actually,
Yeah.
like that's the first game where we've really felt sweaty and pressured, and we're having to counter pick and counter comp, and everyone is tired now, and they've played really well. Game. They really showed up to some good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying it already. We said, like, you know, before the match, you obviously had the interview coming in saying, oh yeah, you know, last time they thought they had a counter, but they had nothing on us, and then this time around it was, that was a different game than 2 days ago, definitely. So, I mean, obviously, still, you pull it out in the end. did you feel at some point, because in the beginning, it like especially on Hollywood, it felt like they really had to, you made them play your game, but then it sort of switched around where it sort of felt like they made you play their game, especially with that whole halt hook thing coming in. But that was definitely a turnaround. I don't know if you felt it the same way.
Yeah,
Boys,
we were
do you
kind of
wanna-
like
do you
riding
wanna
the
talk about-
anti-hog movement. And then eventually we just kind of like succumbed, played our own hog, and just won.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Basically.
Yeah.
For
I
anyone
mean,
wondering, by the way, it's hard for us to actually ask specific questions to people because we don't actually know what their names are because they've all got different names on Discord right now. That's fine. You know, we just hear from whoever we hear from, so we don't exactly know who's talking, but it'll be fine. Continue. Sorry for the interruption.
We have 6 salt shakers.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're all Torbjorn.
They were
We're all
trying
the
to-
band Torb.
I'm
Gotta say that at least we spell out Reaper with our names.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
The folks at home might not be able to see that, but definitely be
No, they
showing
won't.
the team synergy up in there. But real quick, I want to talk about it because it seemed a little bit like a flex in chat when Citizens decided to ban Torb. I believe it was on Lijiang the first time around. How did you guys kind of think about that? Were you just like, yeah, okay, we're kind of prepared for this, or was it just like,
We don't
we'll see?
think.
All right.
we just play the game.
Yeah.
They were
know
trying to
what it
nerf me, man.
It's something that like was talked about. Like this is the only hero bands tournament that we've been in. We've spoken about it, but realistically, we have nobody on this team is a one trick. Like
Except for me.
we want to sort of, except for Vulcan, who's a diva one trick. Yeah, we actually want to like sort of take that out of the team. Is we can play a lot of different heroes, a lot of different comps, and hero bands doesn't mess with us that badly.
Okay. It just seemed a little bit memey in the chat. Is the only reason I ask. I'm not implying that anybody is anything in particular, but what would you say was kind of the pivot point where like did you guys have to like pick yourselves back up and be like, all right, going into the second set, we're gonna clean slate this, or what was kind of your mindset going into that second?
I think on Anubis we just kind of like turned the switch on and just
Yeah.
like actually started participating.
We
Lijiang, first Lijiang, we kind of trolled playing
Lijiang,
goats.
we don't talk about that anymore. That just didn't happen.
Yeah. If I ever say go goats, don't listen.
I didn't listen. I went Reaper. It didn't work.
He pinned off of cooldown. What a player.
Goddamn.
Not wrong.
Salt shaker has LT CAD, by the way, if anyone's listening.
Yeah. My Ryan's
No.
pretty nasty.
We do have one. We have one Orisa one trick. His name's Salt.
Yeah.
We have three
I mean,
of them.
hey, I played Symmetra.
Wait, where's Dr. Foreskin? Where'd he go?
He's gone.
He's gone.
Oh,
He's
shit.
gone.
Doctor was
Unlucky.
locked in the cage.
He left his keys in his room and he can't get in.
Unluck.
I've
Guess
been
we'll just
there
have to-
though. Like you forgetting your keys is not something you want to do, especially if you already left your house. It's it's a bit of a pickle. Yeah.
Just live in a car.
is that your play?
Yeah, dude, I'm in the car right now. I'm in the front seat. What am I talking about?
Router set up in the dash. I got it. I got
Yeah, yeah, perfect.
No, bro, he owns a cop car.
you. Oh, nice. That's where you get the real tech coming in, like the literal tech. But yeah, I mean, we're about to wrap it up here, guys. But I guess while we're wrapping up, do you guys have any final words before we go ahead and announce the viewers MVP or anything along those lines for your entire team?
Guess not.
$1 shave.
All right.
I feel Dollar Shave Club like sponsorship application.
Yeah.
Yeah, dollar shape.
You have to sponsor the player called Razor, right?
Oh, I need
You
to
have
send. I need to
Okay.
send. I need to send it. I need to send
Yeah,
it.
so what's the other company?
Oh fuck.
Manscaped?
Manscaped,
Manscaped.
They just randomly follow
Manscaped.
that.
Shout out to Manscaped. Big follow.
Well, you guys heard it here first. You want to play like Phase 1, Manscaped.
Yeah.
Be sure
But-
that's clean.
With that, we'll go ahead and announce our viewers MVP. And as I'm sure a little bit of Phase 1 can see, it was going to be Salt Shaker. Going to be popping in as the
Hey.
MVP. So
Gamer, dude.
much congratulations, my Orisa
Let's go.
friends.
Was
Yeah.
Did you get SR?
Yeah, I think.
No, you're always on that SR grind.
We do not have the authority to distribute SR to players, unfortunately. I wish we did
That's
though.
unlucky.
That would have been amazing.
It's okay. He'll just play
Yeah.
Bastion and steal it. It's fine.
Bastion Reaper 2 trick. He's kidding.
yeah.
I know, right? I mean, hey, but once again, like a lot of congratulations to you guys. Really hope to see more of you guys in the future, and yeah, good luck as well. You know, in the rest of the games that you're playing. I don't know what else you're playing in currently, but
everything.
I hope, once again, I hope everything you can, right? Yeah, that's it. That's the attitude. I think that's gonna be it for us tonight. Thank you guys for an amazing game. Like it's one of the more fun ones I've casted in a while, if not the best one in a while. So yeah, I hope I see you guys again, and I also hope we see all of you viewers again, because obviously this current edition of the Brawl has ended, but we'll be back in just a few days because we're just going to continue on, do the next one. It's going to be the Star Esports, what's it called, the All-Star Brawl. We're going to change the name of everything. It's going to be great. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Follow everything on Twitter, on Discord, on DLive, wherever you want to follow it, and you'll definitely be notified. And we'll see you in the next one, guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's go, baby.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks
Big
once
shout
again.
out to Koja as well.
Koja, the team mob, yeah.
Team mom.
Yeah, GG's. So that was a close game. That was fun.
All right, thank you guys very much for popping in, answering a few questions, hanging out with us. We know it's probably a little bit late, no matter where you're at, so we'll go ahead and let you guys go. But for all the viewers at home, thank you so much for tuning in. As we mentioned before, for your casting entertainment, I have been Sir Waltham, and of course, on the other side of the table has been Man of Class.
Yeah, that's definitely been me. You can follow us on Twitter. It's not hard to find us. If you just type in Man of Class OW, then you'll find me. Sir Waltham, also very easy to find.
Yeah. Yeah, and with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up here tonight, folks. But thank you for tuning in. We hope you guys have a great night and stay safe out there, everybody.
We love you, Koja!